We're back. Lack of timing. Maybe I should have ended the music right there. This is pretty sick, though. What's up, Alexander? Good to see you in chat. Make sure to like the stream, subscribe. We have a great show tonight. I'm so happy it's Friday. Holy, man. Needed it. I'm limping into the weekend. Limping in. And today was a doozy of a day for me. So I'm a little lower energy today, I think, than usual. So I'm trying to pull within a little bit of energy. I'm hoping this bad boy will help. But yeah, we're back. Good show. It's going to be a great show, I should say, tonight. Turn this down a bit. How has everybody been? We got a lot to talk about and discuss. We have Alex Jones versus Sneako, which was, from some of the clips I've seen, very funny. Very funny. It's going to be quite... It's been a while since we've had like a drama beef, I feel like. This direct. But we're going to be looking at some clips of that. The whole thing is like an hour and 20, hour and a half long. I figured, we'll just get the highlights. We'll see the highlights of it. Arguing about Islam. So, kind of interesting. But kind of also at the same time, it's not even really like informative. It's kind of just more of a, this is all like infotainment, right? None of this is really getting to any further truth or understanding. It's all just kind of like drama and beef, which is why it's fun to watch and react to, right? Who wants to see Walter Cronkite sitting there staring at you? Give me this. Give me online blood sports. Can Alex Jones bring blood sports back? He would be awesome. Screw the Ralph retort, the kill stream. Alex Jones takes over. That would be sweet. But we have that to watch. We have Aliens. Aliens are back. Back again. I saw that and I was like, oh, we're doing this shit again? Apparently there's more, though. Apparently they're disclosing even more. So we have that to look at. And then we have these flock cameras as well, which I've been hearing a lot about these, and I've been seeing them now. Now that people have been pointing them out, I've been reading about them a little bit here and there. I've been actually seeing them in my real life, my everyday life. And so we're going to be looking at those. There's a crazy story that went viral that we're gonna cover. But yeah, should be a good show. Let me turn this down a little bit more. Speaking of blood sports and... I'll just turn off. Speaking of blood... Oh, actually, before we do any of that, how does everybody like the... You guys like the black, the darkness? Are we going dark MAGA? Not really. We're going dark. Dark Asa. We're going dark Jake. I was like, I'm like, it's not the 4th anymore. I don't want to I don't want to leave the flag in, but I didn't want to take it out of the intro waiting room because I thought it looked sweet. Honestly, I think it looks really cool. I like that intro a lot better than the other one. I was comparing them and I was like, man, the other one is lacking for sure. So I think I'm gonna leave that one in here for now. And I thought, should I just keep on the American flag stuff? And I thought, nah, but it's not the 4th anymore. And I don't know. It's not you know, it's like it's not. I don't want to have all American stuff because that was last week. So this week I wanted to, you know, I kind of wanted to like put something else in the background. Didn't want to stick with the blue. I thought let's just go black. Let's just go black mode. You know, let's just go full on Vanta black. But yeah, tell me how you guys like it. We got a good show. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube at JChem on YT. Let's get to 400 is our next big milestone. Follow me on X, JChem on YT as well. It's all I ask for. One little click, one little press of the button. No money, none of that. Just a click. Just a click in your viewership from time to time. Your viewership as you fade in and out of consciousness, laying on the couch at 8 p.m. on a Sunday, drunk as shit. That's all I ask for. What more could you want, right? What more could a guy want? So please subscribe, follow me on X, JChem on YT. Anyways, back to what I was just saying. The blood sports. I'm jokingly saying that, oh yeah, you know, Alex Jones should start to do blood sports on his show. Kind of, you know, as entertainment, as a joke, but there's been this convergence, this blending, they call it infotainment, right? Of politics, news, entertainment. It's kind of just been evolving over, I don't even know, the past probably 30 years more. And I feel like we're getting to this point where it's, you can't even tell anymore when people are being sincere. Is that legitimately, or are they trolling, you know, or is that legitimately their position? Is that legitimately what they think about issues, things? You can't even tell anymore. And then on top of that, I watched mainstream news for the first time a couple days ago in probably, I don't even know, 5+ years. The NATO summit thing was going on. And I mentioned it to my coworker. He puts on, he had his YouTube TV and MS Now was on. MS Now, right? And I'm watching this thing and it was like in real time, Trump is talking and you know, Trump himself is like, for a minute, it was refreshing and fun to watch and it was exciting and funny. This guy coming up there saying all the things, you know, not acting all prim and proper. And it was like, oh yeah, it's fine. Now I'm watching him and I'm like, he's like Flanderized now. He's like Flanderized himself. It's almost like he's reaching, he's grabbing for the funny quip to say. And he says some off the wall shit that doesn't even make any sense. And everybody starts laughing. And I'm like, that didn't even make any sense. What is going on? It's like what is that old story? The king has no clothes or whatever, right? That's kind of what it is. It's like, he's just talking retard shit and everybody's just like laughing at it. I'm like, dude, this guy is like, he said something I just saw. He said the Islamic Republic of Japan, which is like Iran, Japan. Okay, I guess they're close. Doesn't matter. It's like himself is kind of like, what is really happening here? You know, you're kind of like an entertainer. He's being an entertainer. Is he a president or is he, you know, it's like, okay. And so it's kind of, I feel like in some sense run its course. But then on top of that, I'm watching this MS Now. And, you know, we've known Trump. We've known him for like 10 years, longer than that. But in politics, we've known him for 10 years. We know how he acts. He says something about how he's on Iran's hit list. And he's number one. And he said he's number one on Iran's hit list. He said, I would rather be number one on TikTok. And then like in real time, down below, the scroller comes on and says, Trump claims he's number one on TikTok. And then after the lady comes on, I don't even know her name, some fucking dumb news bitch. She comes on and goes, I just wanted to quickly fact check that. And Trump is indeed not number one on TikTok, even though he claimed that. And I'm like, who cares? Who gives a shit? What are we talking about here? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is mainstream news. And as he's talking, they continuously have this red bar underneath that's like basically just saying the opposite of what he's saying, right? And it's saying it in such a, and I'm like, dude, this is like, I don't even know what to, I don't know. It was just really strange. The news is just really strange. It's just like a psyop now. Everything is just this weird infotainment blending of like WWE argument, like not even arguments, but like, I don't even know. Everything is just crazy. And like Fox News is no better, right? Like the mainstream news is just like wild. It's just like crazy. But then even when you get into the realm that we're in, kind of more of the alternative news space, a lot of that's also like, a lot of these people kind of present themselves to be serious thinkers. And it's like, what are you saying? Like, wait, what was that real? I always talk about the irony bro shit. Nick always kind of, he kind of not popularized it. It was already kind of a thing, but he really, I think, brought it to the mainstream in a way that nobody really had. And that shit is getting old, dude. It's been old. It's like, I just want somebody who's real. I just want something that's real. Is anybody real anymore? Is anybody real? Other than, of course, But come on. I mean, I just feel like I don't even know what to even believe in when these people are talking. Everything is just this weird he said, she said, and it's like it's become just cartoonish now at this point. Very strange world we live in. I limp into every weekend. Yeah, dude. What about, have you guys watched the mainstream? Somebody, just for an experiment, turn on Fox News, turn on MSNBC or CNN or something, and just like watch what they say, how they talk. Like, I feel like it's just like it's like a dumbing down, lowest common denominator. Like this, if you go and watch, discourse 50 years ago, the way people talked, the way they interacted, it's like they're getting like philosophical on things. We're talking about like geopolitics. No, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about TikTok and how Trump's not number one on TikTok. Like what can we talk about what the hell's going on with Ukraine and Russia? What the hell's going on with, I feel like I haven't heard anything about that and it's still going on. But we're talking about, I don't know, just the dumbest shit. And I'm like, okay. But yes, Alexandra, I also have been limping into every weekend. And today was just like the cherry on top. I feel like today was just brutal. Brutal. I didn't get to sleep till, that's probably why I'm tired. I didn't get to sleep like 2 a.m. last night. Woke up at 7-ish, a little earlier than that. And I'm like, and then just nonstop bullshit throughout the day. Aliens, illegal? No, we're talking about the UAPs. Maybe I should have put that. UAPs instead of aliens in the title. I honestly don't remember what it looked like last week. I think it looks fine, though. I don't think the background affects me much. Yeah. You said stuff like that in chat before, Alexandra. You seem to be kind of you're kind of a straightforward person. But I'll tell you, man, these types of things, the aesthetic, the way it looks, the way it does matter. It does matter, right? And marketing, which is kind of what I'm doing, marketing myself. You want it to look good. You want it to look presentable. You want it to be aesthetically pleasing. $250 is big. Yeah. Should I have left it? Maybe I should have left it on there. I don't know. A coworker of mine once walked into a work wearing a wig and I didn't even notice. So there you go. So there you go. See, you're not the person I should be asking. AA990, how is it? Maybe I should ask you. Alexandra clearly just doesn't even care. But on top of that, I was thinking about the channel and things to do. Things that kind of new, you know, I'm always kind of thinking of a new idea and something fun to do. And I want to change some stuff. I want to change the header, my logo a little bit, maybe, you know, kind of update some stuff. Like we have the updated waiting room graphics, I guess you want to call it. Background, I want to change the background to something better. Black honestly looks kind of cool. I kind of like it, but I want it to be something else, and it probably will be next week. But I'm thinking of updating stuff. But I'm also thinking about like different things I can do during the stream, different segments. And I was thinking maybe I should do a call-in. Maybe I should do like a call-in show. Benjamin Snotten Yahoo. That's a name, dude. See, this guy could call in. This guy could call in during Schizo Hours. I was thinking of doing an 8 o'clock Schizo Hours call in. I'll put like the phone number up top, and people just call in, and I'll just we'll riff. We'll give me your most schizophrenic takes. Give me your wackiest takes about society, about life, about politics, whatever. And we'll riff and we'll hear them out. Nothing to get me banned, okay? Nothing to get me banned on here, please. But I was thinking maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll start with like an hour during Schizo Hours. We'll do a call-in segment, and we can have people call in and talk. Bro, you're drinking boy poison monster, but other than that, 100. Very good. 100. Blow up model cars. So, Benjamin's so not Netanyahu. I got you. Oh, I got you. Wink, wink. Not Netanyahu. Gotcha. Denmark in the non-J building. Are you from Denmark? We got a guy from Denmark. So we had a Canadian, UK. Where's Ludwig? We should get, if we have the call-ins, I'll take Ludwig's call. Ludwig, call in. We'll get the Denmark, the Danes calling in. Ludnick. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm thinking of maybe I should do that. That would be kind of fun, because then you might get some wacky ass shit. Howard Ludnick, right? Maybe Howard Ludnick would call in. You might get some wacky ass content. It might be interesting. I think that might spice things up. Because then I would also put it on the thumbnail, right? And I would hope people would just call in and be like, you know, they'd see it while they're scrolling, and then they might just like, I don't know, give me some bullshit. But what do you guys think? Would that be interesting? Would that be something that you would like to do? Would you guys like to call in? I don't know. Just to riff for a little bit. Because I was thinking we did that last stream, which if you guys haven't checked it out yet, me and Dick did a review of the Montreal Manifesto last week, 4th of July stream. It was very good. I was rewatching it throughout the week a little bit here and there. And I thought it went really well, and I want to edit it up and put it into an actual edited video. But I thought, you know, that was fun. He essentially was a call-in, right? And we chatted about that whole manifesto. We chatted about his kind of theories on things, dating, and it was interesting. I thought I would like to do that kind of stuff more. You know, doing this by myself, you know, can get lonely. All right. I like to riff with other people. Thus, I'm riffing with chat. Coke or Pepsi? I'm a Coke guy. But really, at heart, I'm a Sprite guy. At least right now. excuse me, right now in life, I'd be drinking mad lemon and lime stuff. I got lemon in my water over here. Seven Up. Yeah, I was a big 7-Up guy. 7-Up Zero or whatever it is. I was drinking that. That was like my go-to for a long time. And then one day I just switched over to Sprite and I was like, you know what? I think I like this better. 7-Up just was, because then I went back to it and it was too sweet. And I was like, I don't know. Taste change. Sprite doesn't have caffeine. Yeah, that was a big thing on why I just want to drink like sweet water, basically. I don't want the caffeine. If I want to drink it at night, I don't want to be up all night. Although I am drinking a Monster right now, but it's Friday, so who gives a shit? Anyways, let us. 7-Up doesn't have. Yeah, exactly. That was the reason why I drank 7-Up, because caffeine free. Let's move on. Let's get into the content. Seltzer water. Dude, people have tried. I've tried it. I've tried to get into seltzer water and it just tastes like poison. It just tastes like absolute poison. And I just can't. I will just drink. Why don't I just drink regular water? If I want sugar, I just eat candy or something. I don't really want sugar. I want something that's just sweet. Sweet tasting. All right, let's jump in. Let's jump into the content. I want to start with this clip. This guy, okay, I don't know if anybody knows who Rod Dreher is. Dreher. Very, very weird guy. Apparently he's an Orthodox Christian. He was a Catholic. He's an Orthodox Christian now. He's a writer, conservative guy. Apparently, I think what I was reading, I think he's a Mason too, which is like, I don't know. This guy's all over the place. But he was on Ross Douthat's podcast talking about Weimar America. And I haven't seen this clip. But this piqued my interest because this is something we've talked about here on the channel before. And I kind of want to see what his take is on the things that are going on, the things that are happening. Because I theorized a while ago about how the social climate, the culture is specifically on the left wing for 10, 15 years, the woke, right? Which was almost 100% a top-down push. Okay, that was, I mean, even Larry Fink came out of BlackRock and basically said, yeah, we were trying these things, we were pushing these things, the woke agenda, DEI, the ESG scores and all that, but it doesn't look like it worked. He literally claimed that. He has that, you can go watch an interview. So it's like even he's kind of admitting that this is from the corporatist view pushing down on us, and we all recognize this in our ads and our movies and countless stores, right? Target has a trans, lesbian, black, whatever. Everything is like as crazy and out there as you can get. We all recognize that this was like some manufactured bullshit. And for a while there, I was thinking, this is something that is very similar to what was going on in Weimar, Germany in the 20s and 30s. Weimar, Germany was kind of this decadent hub. It was like basically a free-for-all. It was absolute poverty, homeless. You had prostitution. You had trans, right? This is where like kind of the trans, the progenitors of the trans ideology kind of did a lot of their experiments. They had all these things. It was a blemish. It was a blotch on Germany, right? To the point to where the Hitler came to power and burned the books, trans books, and all these degenerate books. Anyways, and that was kind of a reaction, right? Hitler was a reaction. He was reactionary. And so in some sense, I think, okay, so you're having this manufactured push with all these kind of culturally degenerate values, I guess, if you want to call them that. And it's mirroring Weimar Germany. Thus, we should start to see a reaction to this, right? And I think that's kind of what Trump was. Trump was a reaction. And so I started to speculate how much of this is actually all part of a plan. And I don't know. Maybe that's just what decadent societies do. I don't really know. maybe this is just, well, this is just like a foregone conclusion, is that you're going to have rampant homosexuality and transgenderism in a decadent society, and it's just a given that you're going to have this kind of pushback, this kind of reactionary movement. But what resulted after that was obviously the Nazis coming to power and World War II. And I think how much of this is trying to set us up to be the new Nazi Germany, pinning a potential world war, which has already kind of started in Iran and Ukraine, potentially Taiwan. And how much of these kind of authoritarian measures we were seeing with the technocracy and the kind of flavor of it, how much of it is going to be dictated by the corporate elite, by the same people who push the woke? Now they're going to say, oh, they're flipping sides like they did. Like we saw all these technocrats switch sides. So many of these left-wing Jews and tech bros jumped on board with Trump. And what's Trump doing? Trump's running rampant around the globe, in Venezuela and Iran, trying to reclaim Greenland. I mean, they're just using him for whatever they please. And so I just start to think some of this, I wonder how manufactured it is. So let's see what he has to say in regards to this. And it's tough to say how much of this is legitimate when obviously people are going to have a reaction, but do they know that people are going to have a reaction to the stuff? I think that you do, based on the model of Weimar Germany. You can look at that as a period in time and say, well, what happened when all this rampant degeneracy took over the culture? You had a pushback. And I think that these people are psychologists. These people are trying their best to push us in a direction that they want us to go in. So let's take a look at this.
We have created in America today, perhaps throughout the West, the psychosocial conditions of Weimar without having suffered the traumas that Germany did, losing the First World War, hyperinflation. And
right. That's another good point to this, is that hyperinflation, losing the First World War, America really hasn't been through anything like that. We haven't really even had anything like that that's even led us to a point of depravity and degeneracy. We've just kind of had it thrust upon us, and you're like, here you go. It's going to be in all your movies and TV and all your advertisements. And we're all like, what the hell? Am I crazy? Like, you could envision a scenario to where America had this hyperinflation and we were getting poor and nobody could afford anything, and people were resulting to prostitution and they were doing weird stuff, and it was like, whatever, anarchy. And that would result in, naturally result in somebody saying, well, listen, we have to fix this. But it's like, that didn't even really happen. I mean, America is top dog. It has been top dog since the 90s. But you've just seen this almost like manufactured decline. That's what it seems like.
Great Depression. Well, what I mean by that, and this also goes back to Hannah Arendt and her famous 1951 book, The Origins of Totalitarianism. She tried to explain how it was that right-wing totalitarianism in Germany and left-wing version in Russia rose. And she said, these are the factors. Social atomization is by far, said Arendt, the most important factor. We have done this with our young. And not only that, but the loss of trust in institutions, a feeling of wanting to tear it all down. There's nothing for me there. It's all here. And it made me think, it made me fear that we are one economic crash away from something very ugly. It may not be Hitler 2.0. It may not be Stalin 2.0. It might be something all-American, but it's not going to be what we're used to. And people of my generation and yours really don't understand what's happening. One of the things that shocked me about my historical research is that as late as 1928, the Nazi Party was still a fringe movement in Germany. It got only 2.6% in that year's elections. The next year, 29, comes the Great Depression, which hit Germany much harder than America. In 1930, the Nazis went from 2.6% to 18%. 2 years after that, they even doubled. Which was the demographic group that ran towards the Nazis?
Young men.
educated middle-class men in their 20s, because these were men who had been raised in the chaos of Weimar Germany. They were too young to have fought in the war. They were raised in the chaos. They saw their parents lose everything in hyperinflation. They saw how fragile their own futures were, and they saw no future for themselves. And after the Great Depression hit, that's when they gave up any belief in liberal democracy and the centrist powers. Many of them went to the communists, but there were far more right-wingers in Germany at that time than there were left-wingers. And I think this could be the risks that we're running today.
Yeah, and one of the things is that clearly something has to change, right? I'm not saying that, oh, everything is peaches and cream and we should just keep going along the route we're going. No, clearly something needs to change. But the fear I have is that when people go run and flock cameras, when people go flock to a authoritarian leader of sorts, you always have to be aware that these people are not working in a vacuum. These people have funding from other people. They have, like we've seen with Trump, right? Trump had a lot of backing from the Israel lobby, Mary Adelson, from the tech bros. And what happened when he came to power, right? What happened? Did we start to get the wall? Did we start to get all these deportations, all the illegal criminal aliens in here? Did we get a better economy? No. What do you get? You get Palantir, and you get war with Iran and no Epstein files. Take it and shut up and vote for JD Vance. That's like, it's like, oh, because the chickens came home to roost, pay up. And similarly, when we keep throwing our allegiance, our lives at this political machine and waiting and praying that somebody comes and just does it all, I just fear that we're going to be given into something that we don't fully understand what we're doing. And the next thing you know, we're all living in techno tyranny, because it will be worse than any of the authoritarian governments of the 20th century. It will be worse because we have better technology now. You will not ever be able to get out of it. It will be a boot on your neck forever.
I don't conclude this book by saying, therefore, we're going to have an American Nazism, but we're going to have something.
If I mean, your description is conditional,
yeah,
right, on the Great Depression or some kind of similar crisis, right?
Uh-oh.
And we're talking about pessimism, right, as a mood. The Orban government sort of re-Christianization ideas ended in corruption and defeat. Mm-hmm. You don't seem entirely enthusiastic about the arc of the second Trump administration. But then you sort of leap to, well, if this doesn't work, totalitarianism right around the corner. But couldn't it just not keep working for a long time? Like, I look at someone like Fuentes, and he seems like a creature of a particular kind of internet hothouse, right? Mm-hmm. And has a certain kind of power there. But it just seems to me like you'd really have to have a profound social transformation for him to escape from that hothouse and become a kind of Hitlerian figure.
COVID was close.
Right.
COVID totally fried the minds of millions of people. That really, I mean, he talked about kind of atomization. He talked about people not having faith in their institutions. I mean, right-wingers were already kind of on board with that. Then COVID came out and they were like, oh, we're really not on board with this. And now I'm starting to see left-wing people fall into that as well. We don't believe in the institutions. And hey, I'm no fan of the institutions either. Okay. I'm with them, but he's painting a really realistic picture of today. And it's going to be something, I think, that it's going to be affecting everybody. He's right. And I think maybe this is kind of like it's like a warning, I guess, in some sense. Or not a warning, but what is it? It's like a predictive programming, right, of sorts, where we're going to throw this out there. And then next thing you know, I've been saying this for a while too, is that what if the internet shut off? What if the internet shut off? What if the electricity went out, right? What if you couldn't get your shipments for all the addictions we have? People are going to go crazy real quick. COVID was really mild in thinking back on it, but it could get really bad really fast. And then that's it. That's all you got to do is just, it's just the lighting the fuse. October surprise. Yeah, that's true. I know. I'm like, I feel like I need to gear up. I feel like I need to be gearing up for something that's coming. Midterms might have something a little bit, but I think we're really going to see something in 28. And I think it's going to be newsworthy. How and why did Germany get that way? Because of that. Because of rampant inflation, bad economy, poor economy, people snaking their way into the poorest culture that resulted from that. And then just proliferates the worst vices among the people. And it gets to such a point where it starts to tip and people start to pray to God that they get put out of their misery. Hey, Adorable Waffles. Good to see you in chat. Sorry I'm late. I lost my phone, so I'm watching on my laptop tonight. Lost your phone? What? How are you surviving? How are you going to survive? I think maybe the conditions in the U.S. that led to our versions of the Weimar was a lot of poverty and violence of ideas and values rather than physical realities. I know. Well, this is the thing. This is what I'm saying is that, like, if we're online barking at each other and we're getting to such a degree, whether it's the gender divide, the boomers versus Gen Z, the racial divides, we're getting to such a degree to where we're fighting on all fronts, everybody, and then they shut off. They shut off the internet. Oh, there's a bigger cyber polygon, cyber attack. Well, then what? Then what are you going to do? Are those ideas not going to translate over into the real world then? They already kind of are, but they're still largely, like you're saying, largely limited to online discourse for now. But if you pull that discourse out from under people, I wonder what's going to happen. Because young people are experiencing a lot of hopelessness, even if it's not because they are starving. Yeah. But again, a lot of that is like, it's not, it's like the Great Depression. It like happened to you, whereas this is like, it feels like the hopelessness is coming from the older generations pulling up the ladder intentionally. And then on top of it, when he talks about atomization, first thing that rang off in my mind was people are sitting online all day, sitting in their houses all day on their phones, not interacting with real people. That's why you feel hopeless and lonely. And all you're doing is arguing and bitching. They're not interacting with real people. They're not interacting with the real world. It's this abstracted world of the internet. It's like we're willfully atomizing ourselves. That was that. I think Marie in chat brought up Bowling Alone. That was kind of what Bowling Alone was about, and that was from 2000. People don't bowl anymore. People don't have communities. We don't have third spaces anymore. And it's because it's it's this kind of liberal foundation, this hyper individualist foundation, where we've teetered too far. I think too far, where maybe these authoritarian governments we're talking about the 20th century teetered too far to the collective. Our society is trying to has been teetering way too far to the individual. So much so that atomization, desperation of a community is just, it's just everywhere in the younger generations. America is not even a real country. That's an interesting thought too. I was thinking about that too recently. America is like, in some sense, it is just like this. America's the end, right? America is the end of everything. Anything you want, anything you need, it is the ultimate end. And in some sense, as a country, it's the end of countries. It is this like post hoc rationalization of how we can construct a perfect society, devoid from any sort of real world authority. And it kind of just fell in our laps. We're like, oh, hey, look at this. And then we just took it. It's like, in some sense, it's the final. It's just like the final of everything. It's the end of the road for everything. Everything is taken, turned into it's, what is the word I'm thinking of? It's consumer. It's like mass consumption, mass consumer society, deterritorialization, right? That's what Nick Land talks about. Gutierrez, I think, talks about that too. Or Deleuze maybe talks about that. And it's ripping everything from its roots and turning it into this commodity, the best it can be, taking it to its logical conclusion and then pushing and then some. Everything is like that here. They were just showing that there was clips of the Europeans coming to America for the first time and looking at our food, and they're like, damn, dude, our food is like huge compared to what they get. Well, because we're taking it to its extreme and we're going to keep going and we're going to keep experimenting. It really is this crazy experiment, the end of it all. Seeing how far we can go. There is real poverty too. Many young people despair of ever having the ability to support a dignified lifestyle for themselves and a family. True. We're all doomed. I don't black pill that hard. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be okay. 25% German. Earlier than 28. You think so, A? I don't know. Loss of hope in an increasingly godless society. Yeah. Shit hits the fan before the end of this year. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if there's a big upset. I think we've been championing independence as the highest form of freedom or something. No, we've been championing freedom as the highest form of good. What is the freedom? The freedom is a different concept. It's a different form of freedom that we've ever seen in history, right? This like Platonic version of freedom. It's kind of it was more of a, you're free to pursue the good, free to pursue virtue without being shackled, without being a literal slave, without being a slave to your vices. You know, it's like if you're a smoker or you are a binge eater or you're a binge drinker, you do get to a point, or even something harder, fentanyl, heroin, right? You do get to a point where those things are, they're driving the train. They're driving the bus. And then you have to just let them do what they want. Otherwise, you're going to be in massive disarray and massive discomfort. And these things keep tacking on. I've noticed that. I felt that in my own life. I used to be a smoker and I used to drink a lot. I used to be I had my vices, okay? And I had friends who, sports betting, when that took off, they really tried to get me into sports betting. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't need to tack on another chain to my leg. I don't need another vice, you know? It's just weighing me down. You are a slave to your vice, right? That's kind of like the Platonic idea of freedom, is alleviating yourself from those chains and pursuing the good, pursuing virtue. But America has completely twisted it, this perversion of it, where it's like, no, the vice and virtue don't even exist. It's just you being able to do whatever you want. Oh, shit. That's crazy. It feeds that isolation because people would rather accept division than put in the labor to reconcile. Yeah. If everyone wants to do exactly what they personally want to do without concern for anyone else, they see that as the ultimate expression of freedom. They eventually end up alone, either literally or effectively. Yeah, because there's no what's the word I'm looking for there? Yeah, like a reconciliation. There's no blending. There's no coming to fruitful understanding with another person. It's me, only me, and you are only you. And if you don't like it, you can hit the road, Jack. That's why probably, divorce rates are so high. I also said this thing about coping the other stream. I think a couple streams ago, I was talking about that. That also kind of feeds into that, is this idea of coping. And people use cope as like a negative term, and in some sense it can be, but the idea of coping with the tragedies of life, whether it's death, whether it's not getting that job you wanted, whether it's loss of a friend, loss of whatever, that's an important element of this whole, your life, right? That's the whole story, is coping, figuring out how to cope. And you find that these people who go up and, they do the bang bang in a school or something, it's like they didn't learn how to cope, because I think partially it's this idea of freedom has just invaded people's minds to where they feel like they should have it all. They should be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want. And any sort of discomfort that life brings at them, well, I'm not going to cope with it. I'm not going to figure out how to reconcile that. I'm not going to figure out how to get along with my parents because it's all about me. Screw that. I'm not going to cope. I'm not going to cope and seethe. I'm going to just take my own path. And then that results in extreme loneliness and isolation. We live in a society, okay? You got to get along with people. You got to figure out a way to get along and mend the rift. And you have to figure out how to cope. Coping is important. The statue is Lucifer. Uh-oh. Benjamin, if we do a call-in, you better call in, buddy. If we do a call-in next week, I better see you. I better hear your some of your schizo screed. Everything is a clown show. Bro is literally overdosing on the black pills. Rothschilds, yeah. You're going to have to wait. Yeah, she's going to have to wait till 8 p.m. You're going to have to wait till 8 p.m. for schizo takes. You have used up all your schizo tickets until 8 p.m., Benjamin. I'm 44, by the way. No, he's from Denmark. He said it earlier. Fudge bar. Technology has made it easier to not need other people. But we have this is the underlying spiritual connection we have with our fellow man, that technology just it's not it. Even when it tries to be, even when ChatGPT pretends it is, it's not it. It's not the real thing. It's not ensouled. Which means people are even less inclined to work on reconciliation and more inclined to just accept division and worship their own will. Yes. And I've said this before too, is that you now have the opportunity, you have the outlet, however insane you are, however crazy you are, you can now get on the internet and find people, a community of your own, who will reinforce those beliefs. There's that famous 4chan post where the guy's like, oh, back in the day, if you said, I feel like a furry or something, if I feel like a girl and I'm a boy, or I feel like a toaster, your dad would smack you upside the head and say, no, you're not. You're my son. Let's go. Get back to work. But now, hey, I feel like a freak of some sort. I feel like some weird whatever. Well, now I can get online and there's a billion people who are going to affirm that. So I don't even need to change. I don't need to conform to my reality around me. I can just be whatever. And that continues to saturate small enclaves. And they keep popping up. They keep popping up in society. And it just creates more and more division, more and more division, more and more division. How do you know they aren't bots? It doesn't matter, because effectively it's doing exactly the same thing I'm saying. Bots or not, real people, whatever. You're going online. I mean, even ChatGPT, which is a bot, does this. It reaffirms your lifestyle. It tells you, it talks to you, it schmoozes you, it tells you what you want to see. It's narcissists, okay? It tells you that whatever you're doing is right and you're good. And so, well, the internet tells me I'm doing okay, so I guess I'm doing all right. But then again, what becomes the greatest good? What becomes the highest virtue? Me and my own feelings on whatever I want to do. And if I feel like I want to do this today, well, I'm going to go and try and find content or communities that are going to reaffirm that. Rather than having kind of a strict worldview with a rigid dogma to it that you're trying to follow, and trying to apply that to the real world and seeing how it works, seeing how it fits, seeing how you can conform things to the world, to that worldview, and seeing if that worldview is any good, right? Because if that keeps happening, if you have a worldview and you go into the real world and it's constantly nonsense, you're testing it against the world, and it keeps coming back and smacking you in the face. Well, that's a bad worldview. You need to change it. But once you do find something, once you do find the worldview that fits the truth, then you need to start gauging everything off the world off of that and seeing how that comports. How do I feel about this? Well, it's not just whatever flitty feelings you have, because you don't know. Because everything's camouflaged. As Benjamin in chat is saying, everything is orchestrated. People are fakes. People are phonies. It's tough. You're going to have to try and gauge. You're going to have something to gauge it off of. And you want to gauge it off of people's actions, not their words. That's another thing. Anyways. All right, let's move along. So July 5th, so right after. Isn't this so like on the nose, right? 250th anniversary. You get Sneako out in the streets with all of his Muslim brothers celebrating, I think it was Egypt versus Australia in the whatever football bullshit. sorry to Benjamin in chat. I just don't care. I don't care about soccer. But he was celebrating with all of his friends. And he kind of got a little rowdy. So let's check this out.
This is the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan. Islam will be in every household. Inshallah, the whole world is Muslim. Welcome to Mamdani's New York. You see this city? You see how it looks? Inshallah, your city looks just like this too.
All right, and let's be honest. Okay, all right. So Alex Jones comes on there and says, deport him now. Now, a couple things going off in my mind here. You also have Elon in agreement with Alex. Deport him. Get him out. Get him out of here. Wouldn't that be actually so funny if he was deported? Where would they send him, though? Mexico? Wasn't he born in New York? I guess you sent him to an Islamic country? I don't really know. Send him to the one we're bombing right now? No. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Two things go off in my mind. First of all, Sneako, didn't he just become Muslim like a few years ago? I don't know. I'm not saying like, yeah, listen, if he's convicted or whatever, like I'm not saying it's not his real beliefs or whatever, but it's like all these guys look like they're like, I don't even know, like they look Egyptian or something, or like this is their cultural heritage, where it's like Sneako's like a lot of Americans, right? Just kind of like a void of nothingness. What do we base our identity off of? 90% of it is the market. Let's be honest. 90% of our identities in America are based off of what we consume in the market. And our job we have. The market. There isn't a whole lot. There really is not a whole lot to grasp onto. And it's like, that's kind of the way that America is constructed. You know, America was constructed to be this kind of loose, Ben in chat would say Masonic society, right? This kind of, we do not have authorities. We are just the individual. And it's coming home to roost because we really are starving for community now and heritage and culture. And it's just, and when I look at Sneako, that's like one of the things I think of, man. He's like a perfect example of this. It's like people shit on him for that, but it's like, dude, that's like what everybody's going through. He's just, honestly, he's one of the people who, though, I think actually understands that he needs something more. I need something more than just entertainment, consumerism. My identity needs to be something more than that. So so there's that part of it where I'm kind of sympathetic, but I also think, like, I don't know, man, like, it seems like a lot of it is just, didn't he kind of bounce around a lot? And I guess that's what you do when you're young. You try stuff out, but I don't know. It's like, damn, you're going in the streets and you're like, everything's going to be Muslim. Everything. Has he been to a Muslim country? He's probably been, right? He's probably been to like Saudi Arabia, UAE maybe. Let's look that up. Has he been? Has Sneako ever been to an Islamic country? Let's see what the AI tells us. Okay. He's been to Saudi Arabia. Okay. Look, I was right. And Indonesia and Malaysia. Okay. Second thing I thought about with this clip is this not just perfect timing? Is this not perfect timing for Israel? Let's get this guy out there to start screaming the shit about how we're going to take over your country right during this conflict between the West, Israel and the West, versus the dirty heathens, the Muslims, the sand people. It's going to rile people up, right? You got Alex Jones on there. And of course, our boy himself, Elon, comes in saying, yes, get rid of the Muslims. We hate the Muslims. Don't worry about the technocrats, which I am. Don't worry about the Israel lobby. Don't worry about that. The Muslims are the problem. It's like, yeah, they are a problem. I'm not saying they're not, but it's just very on the nose, especially 250th anniversary, 250th of America right here. Hey. I bet Sneako would kiss the wall if they told him to. Maybe, I don't know. At this point, it might be a sunk cost fallacy where he might be a little too indebted to Islam worldwide. You might be a little too indebted to them to do that. But Clavicular is in Tel Aviv, I think, right now. So that's interesting. We were going to talk about that, but I was like, there's not really a whole lot there to talk about.
Who shot up the San Diego Mosque are now going to think today. What do you think the crazy people who shot up the San Diego Mosque are now going to think about someone like me? What do you think the people that got stabbed, 5 Muslims stabbed in Scotland, are now thinking when Jigsaw is saying that I'm going to explode? Whoa, Sneako, victim much? You don't know what it's, you have never said anything to resist the tyranny. You've never put your face out there.
Okay, bro.
You have never stood up against injustice. You have no idea what it's like. You
Injustice.
don't. Cope, seethe. Richest man in the world from Africa,
coping.
trillionaire, calling to deport me from my own country. What do you know about this? Have you ever been banned from Australia? I've been banned from Australia. You ever been banned off every platform? I've been banned off every platform.
No,
I'm still here.
I hate this. These do not mean anything in and of themselves. Okay, me and Dick talked about this last stream too. I said, just saying you got banned off of something doesn't actually mean anything. People like to hang it up on the wall like it's their diploma and credentials of like, look how real I am. I only speak the truth. But there's a lot of people who've been banned who are fucking whack jobs, dude. That in and of itself does not mean anything. People were getting banned for, I've been banned off of Twitter back in the day. All my homies, all the real nibbas got banned from Twitter back in the day because you couldn't say shit. You couldn't say anything. That doesn't mean anything. it's like maybe maybe it somewhat points to you're saying in that garbled mess of banned people, there might be some people in there who are actually saying legitimate things to resist the tyranny, the current tyranny. Okay, maybe there are. I'm not denying that. But that in and of itself isn't the litmus, okay? We have to dig a little deeper. But people hang this up on the wall like it's just some award.
Here, what do you know about this? What do you know about fighting? What do you know about standing up for the truth? What do you know about tyranny? What do you know about oppression? What do you know? Don't come and talk to me about any of this.
Truth?
Victim maxing, oh no, this. You have never, ever questioned authority and had them think that you're a threat. If the people that are oppressing and bombing the world find you to be a threat, then you could talk to me. I've never committed a crime. I'm banned from Australia for speech.
Wait, but the people, again, Sneeko, the Israel lobby and the Zionists, they hate white supremacists as well. And I don't think you would say that you are a white supremacist. So, but by that standard, you would say that, no, there is legitimacy there, right? There is total legitimacy there.
Your speech never bothered anybody. You say, good goy slop, good little goy, make your stupid YouTube video. Oh, yeah. Do that forever. You're a good little goy for them. Good slave. Nice. Slop. We're not the same. We're
like
not
our
in the
slop.
same conversation. I don't need to know you.
Chat says, stop crying.
Now, cope in the chat. Let's see I see the hate watchers. I see them. What did I say that's wrong? You ever been banned from a country? You ever been banned from Australia? You ever had secret police following you around? Have you? Have you ever had people with connections to the Trump administration tweeting, calling the FBI? You ever had to look around your apartment for bugs? Huh? No, you haven't.
Huh?
None of you.
Have you?
You don't know what this is like. You will never be in this position. You're afraid. You're a coward.
And doesn't
So
Nick
stay over there.
Doesn't Nick say the same exact thing to him? You got your YouTube back, you got all your socials back, so he's like, I'm still banned, right? I'm still banned from payment processing. I'm still banned. So if the litmus is who's the most banned, then if that's the litmus on whoever's the most banned is speaking the most truth, then there's some crazy whack job living under a bridge somewhere. Then the people in prison are the biggest truth tellers. All the people in prison are the biggest truth tellers because they've been banned from society. Whoa, Sneeko, blowing my mind.
And enjoy your spot. But criticizing me, attacking me, these people are destroying your country and destroying your world. What did I do? I said, God is
Bro,
great
he's foaming
and my
at the
eyes were
mouth.
too wide for you. This is what you're bothered by?
What God, though? See, that's the thing.
Noise complaint. Who is that?
What are you talking about? I hate that shit, too. It's like this weird Masonic, like, God. Oh, we all worship God. What God? What God are you talking about? The qualitative relationship of the Muslim God and the Christian God are completely different. The Christian God is seen as the Father. The Muslim God, you're seen as subordinate, a slave of sorts, and he's known as a deceiver. Very different way how it manifests. The Muslims are so not the problem. We can hold two. This is a thing. I harp on this, is we can hold two ideas in our head at the same time. Muslims are a problem. Jewish supremacists, Judaism, Zionists, all these different sects that run our government, they are also a problem. 100%, full stop. We can say they're both. Now, we could talk about which one's more of a problem. Okay. Because I think they are a problem over in Europe. They seem to be quite a problem in the UK. His eyes look a little crazy. Yeah. That's just the Muslim in him. He's actually crashing out. OMG. Yeah. Hello. He asked about looking around apartment for bugs. My first thought was, yeah, my dog will eat them. Yeah, I know. Right? I got tons of bugs in my apartment. Oh, that kind of bug. When no one is listening to anymore, get yourself banned. All right, that's true. Look how crazy and important I am. I must be saying something real because I got banned. Like, bro, you went on Blue Sky and typed the N-word 1,000 times. I was banned, guys. Look at my credentials. Look how crazy I am. Yeah, the problem is that he said the Muslims will intend to take over New York and will force the conversion of Americans, right? He said, God willing it. God will will it. God will will it. But then what we do, our jihad, is for God. God is willing us to do these things. And it's like, Allah is not the same, yeah. Jays are a way bigger problem. Yeah, because they command immense capital in this world, in this country, in the West, way more than Muslims do. Absolutely. But I wouldn't be so sure to say that Muslims are not influencing us at all. I think they absolutely are. I think people like him are being paid by, I don't even know, Saudis, Dubai. I have no idea. But I think there's absolutely a Muslim lobby. He doesn't sound genuine by pretending all he did was praise God. I know. And we're going to get into this right now, actually, because they go back and forth. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Alex Jones, duking it out with Sneeko. So here's some of the highlights of this. This was freaking hilarious. If you haven't watched the whole thing, check it out.
The manifesto, they're Mexican white nationalist cat boys. So okay.
Durka, Muhammad Jihad.
Well, stuff like that is.
What do you want me to tell you? I'm your friend, like the Quran says, and then stab you in the back.
The Quran doesn't say that.
How about I become a Shiite with you, and we take swords and cut our heads, and for 8 hours I just march you like.
That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Or I could be a megachurch Christian with Kenneth Copeland drinking my blood. I could be with Erica Kirk shooting fireworks off my ass and twerking. You want me to do that? Small minority.
Those are
demonized.
Dude, people don't. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the stupid dialectic brain, bro. He's like, either you get Kenneth Copeland and Erica Kirk, which are 100% business church grifters, or you get Islam. Those are our two choices. That's what we get. How about neither of these? This is like Benjamin in chat. Love you, buddy. You're going crazy, but that's kind of what you're saying here too. You want the Jews, you don't want Muslims. Well, Jews are a bigger problem. So what? Muslims are okay? No, they're not okay. We can hold both of these things at the same time. Absolutely. Shitty choices. Exactly. This is what the fucking presidential cycle in America is every 4 years, dude. It's two shitty choices, two bought and paid for grifters. Which one do you want? Neither. How about that? Can we get something else? Nope. You only got, and then you get in the squabbles with people. I just got into a argument with somebody. Well, not me. I was standing there and my two coworkers were getting in an argument. My 85-year-old coworker who's like, Trump can do it. Trump's going to get it. Versus my other coworker, much younger than him. And they're like, he's like trying to argue with him about the economy or something. And he's like, all that, you could just attribute all that to Obama. You could attribute all. And I'm like, Obama hasn't been in office in like 15 years, dude. And I said, I think you meant Biden. And he went, yeah, Biden. You could attribute all that to Biden. I'm like, all right, bro. Listen, both of these trains are taking us off a fucking cliff, dude. The UK is overrated. I don't know. I've never been. He said he would put Islam in every home. Yeah, that's not even a veiled threat, right? But then he says, oh, every knee will bow. That's the same thing, right? Christians say that. Not even close, dude. Especially, like, let's look at the tactics as well. And I'm not saying the nominal Christians, the Christians who are like Pete Hegseth, whatever, weird ass business church Christians. Like, Islam is just this violent, barbaric, backwards ass religion, man. That's nominally not what Christians do. We don't go and invade your house and force you at the end of a sitar to submit. Alex will get you banned. Really? Playing this will get me banned? Well, if I leave, hey, if I get banned, then I'm speaking more of the truth. Okay? If I get banned for playing this, I'm speaking more of the truth. Who is Obama? I don't even know. Sitar. Oh, what am I thinking of? Shit, sitar is a flute. Maybe you're right. What's the blade? Is it? Oh, it is. I think you might be right. You're right. It is an instrument. What's the blade? Isn't it kind of something similar, like Middle Eastern curved blade? Oh, shamshir? Oh, scimitar. That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of. The end of a scimitar. Yeah, that thing. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for the correction in chat. Sitar, scimitar, similar. Similar.
Billion people.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weasel from Connecticut, the mighty Mongol, the amazing, all-powerful, sneaky
Allahu Akbar!
Nico.
Allahu Akbar!
You
Wait.
don't even have a brain.
So what makes you think you can deport
You
me?
gotta have a brain to be
So
able to
what
get
makes
knocked
you
out.
think you can deport me if Sean Strickland can't knock me down, huh? You can't stop me. I'm coming.
I know. Then tell me.
Coming.
Yo, what is that?
Coming.
What is that?
Durka Muhammad.
Allahu Akbar!
Allah.
Takbir!
The women.
Takbir!
The slavery that we take the women as sex slaves and,
And inshallah, inshallah, you become Abdul Alex Jones.
The fucking limiter on his microphone.
Assalamu alaikum. Marry your cousin. It's so much fun.
You really have.
Durka Muhammad Jihad.
Wow.
It comes from your Jewish supreme leaders. It comes from Abraham, who you were the bad son. You are the bad Islami. Bad, bad, bad. Abraham say, you are not the chosen. No good, sneaky. You are cursed, sneaky. You are cursed to wear nightgown and marry cousin. Bye-bye, sneaky. I love you.
Hey,
I'll
stop
see you tomorrow.
stop killing.
His name is a sneaky snake, oh snake.
He
All right,
also,
we love you,
Alex
Sneaky.
Jones talks about this and as well as how Israel has actually funded a lot of these Muslim proxy groups in the Middle East. And Sneeko just kind of like hand waves it. He's like, well, and then you even have rabbis who talk about Islam being the broom of Judaism. And then there was that debate a while back, which it was with, I think it was like Gavin McGinnis, Nick Fuentes, and a couple other people. And it was like two Jews or something. Maybe it was one Jew. Ben King, I think that's what his name was. And they literally asked him point blank and said, which one do you hate more, Islam or Christianity? And Gavin McGinnis was like, oh, they're going to say Islam for sure. And he said, we hate Christianity more, straight up. So they don't even, I don't even think Israel and the Jewish lobby and all these people, I don't even think they care that much about Islam. I don't think they see it that much of a threat. They see it as a backwards, barbaric religion, and I think they can deal with it accordingly. The universe is doing things to me again. Uh-oh. I don't know how to take that. Beatles played the sitar. Yeah, my bad. My bad, all sitar lovers in chat. They had Arabic words yesterday in Jeremy. I kid you not, sitar was one of the words. Look at that. It's in the oh, I see what you're saying. That's the universe. It's in the collective mind. Collective conscious. I like at the end of a sitar better. Yeah, I would too. Yeah. If a muzzy kicked my door down and had a sitar and was like, "You play the sitar," I'd go, "All right, bro." Start playing the King of the Hill theme song. I start playing the King of the Hill theme song, and he just starts doing a crazy dance and gets back in his genie lamp and disappears. I heard Muhammad is the most popular boy name in England. Yeah, that is true. You know, I was looking this up too. Interesting factoid about the birth rates. I was looking up immigration birth rates in Western nations. And the statistics I was looking at claimed that after the second and third generation immigrant birth rates level off to match the host country. So I always assumed when these people come over here, they're just going to be breeding machines, and maybe they are for the first generation. But after that, these statistics show allegedly that it plateaus and levels out, and they just adopt the host culture's birth rates. So maybe you have this interim period, even if all this immigration and stuff just continues along plan, maybe you do have this interim period where there is a major cultural shift, but then it eventually goes back to normalcy, back to your regular scheduled programming of, yeah, we have an Islamicized UK, but it doesn't really, it's only for a brief moment of time because the birth rates in general are plummeting. It's almost just modernization, I guess. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I was just reading about this. Maybe if somebody has heard otherwise, but I thought that was an interesting statistic I was looking at. They said it basically like if the birth rate is like 1.5, right? If you move an immigrant family in, let's say their birth rate's 3 on average. The second generation, it'll be like 2, and then the third generation is going to be like 1.5. So it's just this kind of is it just this devouring philosophy? Even though we have our problems with the immigrants, it's almost like even they are not going to, if the statistics are correct, even they will not be able to fight against modernization, modernity. If that's true. They are playing against each other. That's true. Very true. If you like the sitar, check out MC Clemens, NYT Blod. Interesting. So you're saying culture is a deciding factor in birth rate, not race, religion. Allegedly, from what they were saying that these statistics, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Just like 2 a.m. last night when I was reading this, but I was like, what? Like what they were claiming was that once they adopt the host pop culture, and you got to think about it. Okay, let's think about it for a second. What is one of the major reasons why the birth rate in the West is declining? It's one is this feminism, right? And it's the liberalism, the individual above all, and lack of no responsibility. I don't want to have to deal with a family. I don't have to raise a family. And then even if you wanted to, right? Feminism pushing women into the workforce later and later. You pushing off child rearing years to later and later. And again, with the abundance we have, even psychologically, years ago, you would have 10 kids because, 6 or 7 of them would die and you need workers. But now we have so much abundance and that people live to 100. Is it like it's like the R and K strategy Dick was talking about at last stream? It's like now we just have like 1 or 2 kids and we just take care of them. It's almost like, is that just a foregone conclusion of modernity? That the birth rate's going to have to go down? I don't know. But it's just an interesting thing to think about. It's the water we swim in. That's true, Benjamin. Maybe it really is bad in London. We only get snippets. I don't really know. I've never been. I got to go see what it's like. I should go up to Dearborn. I hear Dearborn's overrun by Muslims. I should check it out.
I said my snake or black widow analogy was not talking about violence, but why I have a phobia of pouring gasoline on myself and lighting myself on fire, or jumping off a 5,000-foot cliff, or playing with black widows in my hand, or playing with rattlesnakes. You have those phobias because it's a natural thing to something your brain recognizes is dangerous.
You're scared of me?
I am absolutely scared of giant hordes of third world populations that keep women as slaves and
you said me. You said you
pregnant.
want to deport him now. You're scared of me individually?
I am scared of being a cuck and laying down to people that declare their superiority and their supremacy over me. And you are following Orthodox Islam and are openly announcing, we will dominate you, we will control you. So you follow the Quran? You believe?
Well, let's talk about the clip I said.
Pay the Jesus,
let's be specific about what I said.
Head chopped off. Which way is it? Is it?
Real quick, also about Alexandra, what you said in chat. You said it's culture is the deciding factor in birth rate, not race, religion. One of the things I also think is going to happen is that people without the religious part you marked there, is that people without the impetus to have kids, if people are not being told by a deity, a supreme authority to have kids, they're not. They have to, you have to have, because in the modern world, you really do have to have some sort of thrust that pushes you upstream against the current. Because if you don't, if you have this kind of laissez-faire, whatever goes, you're just going to flow with the current, which I think a lot of people do have that. I think a lot of these, even these immigrant populations have that after second or third generation. Once they're born in it and they're living in it for a while, they probably do just kind of get pulled away by the current of the culture. But you have to have something that will actually propel you against the current to actually want to have kids, to want to keep that culture, that religion going. And I think that's what we're going to see in the future, is a lot of atheist, agnostic type people who religion's not, spirituality is not really, well, I don't want to say spirituality. I want to say religion is not a main core focus of their lives. They are just going to get swept away by modernity, and they aren't going to have kids, and they're not going to, or they'll have one. But the people I see at my church, man, all of them have 4 or 5 kids. And I think the future belongs to religious people, 100%. The Amish have a bunch of kids. Mormons have kids. Muslims have kids. This blip, and this is when I talk to the atheists of the world, I have been throwing this at them, and I say, this blip of this kind of enlightenment, rationalization, rational scientific religion we have, scientism, that has only been a thing for like 200, 300, 400 years. That's really only been a thing for like 400 years. And even then, in the way it's spread to the degree it is, that's only been a thing for probably like 70 years. But they act like, no, what you're doing is crazy. But it's like, no, my ideas, religious, spiritual ideas, those are the norm. We're in a blip of abnormality right now. And I think we're going to quickly, if that proves me to be right, and all the religious people are having kids, we're the ones who are going to be we're going to receive the future, right? We're going to be the ones who are pushing our kin to the future. And if we can actually hold to a real religion, not some shoddy bullshit, whatever religion, if we can hold to something real and true, something that has staying power. I think that, yeah, absolutely, your kids are going to believe in that. Their kids are going to believe in that, and it's just going to keep shaving down the agnostic, atheist, pagan types until it will just be we'll be back to a spiritual world once again. I think that's what's going to happen in the future. Go into a marriage thinking I can always divorce, right? Because again, a marriage to you is just a legal contract. It's not a unification. It's not a divine institution. It's not, none of those, that doesn't, I don't care. Dude is just straight up lying about what he said. Maybe he really was just totally drunk. He said, I don't know. How is that lying? He's saying he's perhaps ignorant on it. Are you talking about Benjamin or are you talking about Sneeko? I'm sorry. I don't know who you're talking about here.
It's in the Quran. I pay the tax, I convert to Islam, or my head's chopped off. Which one is
It
it?
doesn't say that. It doesn't say it. You said you read the Quran twice. It doesn't say that
I can
anywhere.
show you 1,000 imams reading the hadiths of the Quran. No,
To
there's
become
three
one,
things.
yep.
Hadiths are not in the Quran. You clearly
Divine
haven't read it if you think
unification.
hadiths are in the Quran. So because you don't know about Islam,
that's
let's talk
the
about
Muslim scholars. You're saying Islam doesn't say you convert or you pay the tax or your head gets cut off.
To become one, yes.
Be real for a second. I mean, you're a funny guy. Do you want to make a change? Like, do you want to use your platform for good?
I think
Define good.
I think I'm gonna be like Muhammad and have 30 black dudes ride me.
You don't even know what you're talking about. Be real for a second. I mean,
Okay, so he said this. Apparently this is a real thing because right after I saw this post, there was another post of this gentleman. Muhammad had 30 black guys ride him. What are you saying?
Did you know that the Prophet Muhammad had intercourse with 30 black men in one night? The story is narrated by Ibn Masud, a close friend of Prophet Muhammad. He says that one night, Prophet Muhammad took him out to the desert and drew a line in the sand and told him not to cross it. Muhammad then says that if he does cross the line, he will perish or be punished. Once it becomes nighttime, Ibn Masud narrates that a bunch of black people came out with their
Dark
hair
people.
and their bodies fully exposed, not wearing any clothes. Ibn Masud then says, and again, I'm not joking, that they came and started riding the messenger of Allah all night long. Many Muslims will try and say that this hadith is not authentic, but keep in mind, it was written by a friend of Muhammad. Not to mention, it's not only in one hadith, but two. Other Muslims will try and claim that this word riding
want to
doesn't
know.
actually mean riding. However, other Islamic texts literally use the exact same Arabic word to describe riding an animal. Not to mention, the same phrase is also used as a euphemism for intercourse. This Arabic dictionary literally defines it as having intercourse. It only gets worse from there.
Yeah, and I see people who like I was looking this up and I'm like, some people are like, no, riding means they got really close to him. They crowded him. But then he's saying right there they're using it in other places. Interpretation. I guess you can interpret it however you wish.
Slavery, the slavery that we take the women as sex slaves and then
and
I turn
inshallah,
over and pay the
inshallah, you
tax.
become
Oh.
Abdul Alex Jones.
Assalamu alaikum. Marry your cousin. It's so much fun.
You really have.
Jerk,
That's so good. It's so good because
jerk,
it's like,
sneak.
Cannot.
like I said, you see Alex starts yelling, Sneeko tries to match him. Sneeko starts going, Takbir. Alex just keeps going higher, just keeps going. And then Sneeko's just like, what the fuck?
Be down, huh?
Look.
You can't stop me. I'm
I
coming.
know. Then tell me.
Coming.
I'm coming. Durka Muhammad.
It's like Sneeko tries to match him. He's gritting his teeth. He starts yelling.
No women.
Takbir.
Slavery. The slavery that we take the women as sex slaves and then
And
I turn
inshallah,
And then Sneako's like, okay, let's be in the
inshallah,
race.
you become
Oh,
Abdul Alex Jones.
And then Alex is fully loses.
Takes it to the next
Sneako's
level. You
just
can't
like-
match Alex Jones' energy, okay?
Sneako's just.
I don't even know where the hell he gets this energy from. Is he taking... You must be taking something.
Dude, that is so funny. Look at Sneako's face. Sneako's just like, what? Oh my gosh, dude. I'm literally crying. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, bro. That is so
There's only one
the
Alex Jones
funniest
I know.
clip of the year. That is easily the funniest clip all year.
Like, even if you disagree with him on stuff,
Even
like, how
the
could you not like
screenshot-
his
the
energy and his
screenshot's
persona?
crazy. It's like there's not even a freeze frame. He's moving too fast. He's moving so fast. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm just dying at that. That's
Okay. All right. I got to go and turn on the AC because I am like sweating right now. I had it on and I was like getting cold, but now I turned it off and now I'm like regretting that. So give me 1 second. All right. That's better. Holy. Okay.
why he's going. That's why he's because he just keeps going higher, just keeps taking it up a notch.
He is such a good entertainer. It's unreal.
Oh, Alex Jones.
And you can see he just stops at his tracks. He just stops. Oh my gosh. The side, he looks like he's worried. He's like, is this guy okay? Oh my gosh, man. Oh gosh. That's so funny. Oh man, that's why he's the GOAT. Dude, we love Alex Jones. 07's in the chat for Alex. Oh my gosh, man. That's
Too much
the
to
funniest
comprehend.
thing I've seen all year.
Wait, are we watching Nick watching Alex and Sneeko? Too much. Alexandra says, I'm watching Jake, watching Nick, watching Alex. Too much to comprehend. Dude, you clearly have never been in a reactception loop. Dude, people will go even deeper than this. They'll react to something about somebody reacting to somebody else, about somebody reacting to somebody else. Like they'll keep going, go. It's crazy. Like looking into two mirrors. I thought that was just a funny reaction he had because it's like I've never seen him laugh that hard before in my life. In tears. Never seen Nick this happy, right? I love you. You need that. You need like that just gut buster laugh. I try and manufacture that in my own life as much as I can, but you really only get one of those like once a year, if that, if you're lucky. That just like crumple over, just crying, laughing. That shit. Oh my gosh. And it is like the best thing ever. Okay, I have a skitzer take. Does anyone else think Nick doesn't sound like himself? I didn't realize it was Nick until I looked. Wow. Well, he was laughing really hard.
Inshallah, you become.
dude.
I don't think I've ever seen him laugh that
That
hard.
is so funny. Look at Seiko's face. Seiko's just like, what? Oh my gosh, dude. I'm literally crying. That's so funny.
Oh.
Words, dude. Good content for sure. Still hate you. Oh man. Oh man. I was like crying laughing. That's how funny that was. Anyway.
Marcus or
He said, good content. I still hate you. Yeah, okay. Maybe he's just sick or something. I don't know. I think he was just laughing really hard. But it could be, maybe that's just, you have like 25 more minutes. Is that your schizo take? You think this is an AI version of Nick? You think this is a fake? I already do just assume we are interacting with AI streamers. It was very, very suspicious how he got a new studio right as soon as the AI stuff started taking off. Okay. I guess I could have, I couldn't suffer, man. I was like, I could feel the beads dripping down my head. I was sweating cheese, bro. I thought I could have waited for the end of this clip. There's no way, because we're going to move on to the flock camera thing. This is a scary real world realization of the direction the technocracy is taking us. This kind of stuff, man, this kind of stuff is going to be happening more and more. And I don't understand why people don't look at Skynet. People don't watch RoboCop. Haven't we seen how a lot of this stuff pans out? When you take the human element out of these deeply human activities, deeply personal things, life-altering changes like this, whether it's law, whether it's medicine, whether it's, when you take the human element out of that and you put it in to the hands of a non-human, that's when things tend to go a little awry. And I think it's just crazy because we're gonna take a look at here in a second, but I'm gonna take a quick second. Do you not have AC? I do. I had it off, or I had it on before. It was getting kind of chilly in here though, and I'm wearing like shorts and a short sleeve. And I was like, okay, so I turned it off, and then it like the temperature just like, and I think like my computer and shit and me talking, it kind of like heats up the room more. So I was just like dying. So I had to go turn it on. Predictive programming. Yeah, I think so. There's some of that too. Some predictive programming going on. Also, I think they're kind of like, there's kind of like, what do they call it? Man, I am like so out of it today because I think it's because I had such lack of sleep last night. But like kind of like a synchronicity, right? Is like there's kind of like it's kind of like a model to look back on, that they're actually drawing from these movies. These movies are like laying the foundation for a possible future world. They're like ideas on how we could make the world. And I think these people of today are actually drawing from these things. But their pride is saying, well, I can do them in the way I want to do them, though. And we're going to see, I think things are going to start to get out of control. But anyways, give me 1 second, everybody. I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the little girl's room, go TT in the little girl's room real quick. And then I will be right back. So nobody go nowhere. Don't you dare touch that dial. We're back. Hyperstation was the word I was thinking of. I looked it up on my phone. I am so out of it today. Forgive me. I had not a whole lot of sleep last night. But we're here. We're powering through. We're working up the gumption. And who knows? Days like that, when you don't get much sleep, if we go into insano hours, things might get weird. So watch out. I was gonna say be careful. I need to be careful. I need to be careful and not get banned if things start to get weird. Because when people get tired, you get kind of loopy, you get kind of out of it. Uh-oh. You never know. So we'll see what happens. All right, so let's look at these flock cameras. If you don't know what the flock cameras are, they're putting them up everywhere. There's you can look up a whole map of them. Let's look up flock camera map. DFlock, yeah. Automated license plate readers. They're basically AI license plate readers that they snipe you. They snipe you from the top of their nests, from their roost. And this is the surveillance state, right? This is exactly what we're talking about. This is the technocratic surveillance state. They're gonna see everywhere you go, no matter where you are. And this is a precursor to them pushing even further, pushing it into our personal spaces, right? Because the private, you might be able to make an argument where it's like, well, you're in the public sector, they should be able to watch you, whatever. But then once the corporations start to adopt them, which they already are, right? This is a corporation. I believe that this place, Flock, I think they're a private company, right? And they contract with the government. It's a privately held technology company. So there's already this distinction where we're kind of overlapping the public life. You need to have the eyes on the public, keep them safe, whatever. But then, well, the private institutions are coming in and they're implementing these cameras and they're working with the government to help keep things safe. And it's like you're already seeing this inching of this combining of the public and private. We've been seeing this. This is an illusion. It's an illusion that people think that there's a distinction. But even now, it's like outright. They're outright just going for it. Palantir, total information awareness, whatever you want to call it. The government buying stocks and Intel, they don't even care. And so we're inching even closer to, I think we're going to get to a point where maybe it won't be some law, but it'll be some sort of contractual obligation you have to sign, right? If you go and want to rent, and every place you want to rent has a Flock style camera in your apartment, well, I got to live somewhere. We'll sign on the dotted line. If you don't accept all of our terms and conditions, you don't get to live here. I guess I could have just cut it off at live. You don't get to live at all. In your car, yeah, you could say in your car as well. Buy a car, it's got to have a camera on it because it's for safety. And then you have no privacy, none at all. But because it's not a law, because it's not coming from the public sector, from the government, we're okay with it. We're okay with signing on the dotted line as long as I get, well, I was going to say things that I want, but it's not even things you want, right? Because I think it's gonna be increasingly coming to things that we need already. To wit, it's already coming to our roads. I got sniped one time from a helicopter. I got my first ticket ever coming out of Cleveland. They caught me. The helicopter flew overhead and hit me and then later on, miles down the road, a cop pulled me over and said, "Hey, we caught you back there on the going, I don't remember, 85 and a 70 maybe 75." And I said, "Where?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "We caught you on the helicopter." Oh, I'm sorry, massa. I'm sorry I went 10 over the speed, 15 over the speed limit. Your sins will be evident for the world to see. We're still in schizo hours. I had an interesting idea. I said, what if the future, because our society is continually just accepting surveillance, accepting the technocracy, we're signing on the dotted line. We don't even care anymore. Once it becomes evident, once it becomes like, look, guys, we watch you all the time. Isn't that what Snowden came out with? He said they're watching you. All these cameras, everything we have in our houses are microphones and they're cameras. Even if they say they aren't, they have them in them. And it will become so normal that I theorize, what if in the future you have this global live stream where privacy is no longer a thing? Well, where it's not a thing right now, but the public doesn't really have a whole lot of insight into it. But what if every room, every house, every location had a camera always on, and it was live streaming 24/7 everybody's lives? And what if maybe you couldn't see within maybe like 100-mile radius of where you lived? You couldn't see what those people were doing, but you could see everybody else. Actually, I don't even know if that will matter. Yeah, hell, you can look up on anybody at any time, doing whatever. We're going to live in, everybody is the controller of the Panopticon. You think it would be interesting? You think people would sit there and watch each other? Or you think people would just be like, look, man, people are pretty boring. People are pretty boring in their lives. They're like, oh, look, Jim's grabbing another cookie. That fat ass. Diabetes, my ass. You think they're going to be doing that? Oh, he crumples his toilet paper when he wipes. I fold mine. What would that do? How would that psychologically? How would that even? I mean, because everybody would know that everybody's watching each other, but I can watch you and you can watch me. Do you want me to watch you? I'm not going to watch you if you don't watch me. They do that now. I know, right? But the elite do it, right? The higher ups do it. But I'm saying, what if it was democratized to where everybody could do it? Everybody was watching everybody. We want transparency. We want complete transparency with the surveillance state. So everybody's just going to be watching everybody all the time. You're going to be the watchers of the watchers of the watchers of the watchers. Wouldn't that be weird? Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be a weird world to live in? How would people change? Would they change? Would they just say, screw it? Oh, he's ordering out again. It would be like everybody would be in the Truman Show. If you guys have never seen the Truman Show, great movie. That would be like what it would be like. Everybody would be in the Truman Show all the time. Wouldn't that be really interesting? Something I thought about. Anyways, let's get back to these. Let's get back to Flock. Lord Pretty Flacco Jody. Lord Pretty Flacco camera. Dangers of ALPRs. They track your movements, store your data for long periods of time, creating a detailed record of your location history. It's led to wrongful arrests, profiling, and stalking ex-partners by police officers. Which there was a video I was gonna check out. Maybe we can still pull it up. This officer, I think it was in Florida, got in trouble for this because he was stalking his ex-girlfriend and then ended up pulling her over to talk to her. He was following her whereabouts so he could just pull her over at a certain time to talk to her. That's crazy. There's no substantial evidence that ALPRs effectively prevent crime despite Flock's unethical attempts to prove otherwise. What is this? Oh, the Flock study that says it solves crime. Oh, sign up for free. Blocked. Blocked at every turn. ALPRs are a serious risk to your privacy and civil liberties. These systems continuously record your movements. And they even said that even when they're deemed to be off, this idea that any technology is ever off, they still are recording. They're still gathering data. More data. More. These systems continuously record your movements without a warrant, probable cause, or even reasonable suspicion. But it's public. Who cares? It's in the public. You're out and about. Your driving history is rarely confined to the town or city where the cameras are installed. It's typically shared. That's another thing, too, is the proliferation of this information across a database like this. It's shared with thousands of other agencies worldwide secretly and companies. We know. You know they're selling this to like Amazon and Google. You get better advertisements. Oh, you shop here a lot? Boom. Send them more ads. Send them more coupons. Once the data is out of your community, you have no control over how it's used or where the rules apply, leading to instances of misuse. So we're going to take a look at this case right here.
This is the future of flock cameras. You're absolutely going to get charged with a crime that you did not commit.
Cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of
Wow.
flock firsthand.
Did that guy even realize what he just said there? That is crazy. This is an authoritarian surveillance state. And the guy's like, look, you can't even piss without us knowing. You can't even fart without us smelling it. Shit,
you were
dude.
in town from 11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado...
Take note of what he said there. Nothing gets in or out of the town without them knowing. Your every movement is being tracked.
Except we don't know who the hell is in here, the illegal immigrants who are crossing the border. We don't know. We don't know what to do about that. But you people who reside here, we know everything about you.
Up at her door,
we're watching you
snapshots
all the time.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get?
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
Yes, there is. I need to know where this is.
The first thing.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
It's an attitude with her.
On the body cam. Is
Yeah,
that
it gives you this like pride. It gives you this like godlike superiority. We have it all right here on camera. How dare you? How dare you try to push back the slightest a bit?
Picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You
Also,
can only be
that doesn't prove that they did the crime. Okay, even if there's a crime happening and you're there at the same time, that doesn't necessarily prove the crime. That there's a leap of faith there, a leap you have to take there to say you're the one who did it. A bunch of people are probably in the area.
Casing houses.
That's all it's going to take. You're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they're just going to assume that it was you that did it. Now, imagine if it was a real
assumption,
bad crime.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure. 100%. It is certain. It is on
100%.
Video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't.
Is anybody
her.
100% about
It was
anything?
somebody else. Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
No, even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at a time of a crime.
Oh my gosh, dude, I would be crashing out. The stupid bureaucratic glut of that's not my problem. Listen, I just arrest you and throw you in the jail and throw away the key. You're going to have to go through all these other channels of communication, people you don't talk to, people who have no power, no immediacy over resolving this issue. You're going to have to go up the chain of command and you're going to have to fill all the paperwork, correct paper. Dude, the administrative nightmare that this is going to be for people. I think that's part of the reason why we have these liberties to begin with, because we don't want people to be, that's the whole reason why we have the speedy trial, right? It's like, we don't want you to be stuck in a cell waiting for the administrative bozos to deal with the paperwork. That's the whole point. But now they're saying, no, you're not talking to me. I don't deal with that. You talk to this person. And what's that person going to do? That person's going to say, you talk to this person. That person's going to be in India. They're going to say, I don't even understand you. Let me get my supervisor on the phone. Get the supervisor on the phone. He's in, I don't even know, Rio de Janeiro. Then he's got, and you're like, dude. And then it goes all the way back around to the original guy, right? And then he goes, oh, you know what? You're right. It's been 6 weeks, but you know what? I think you're right. Let him out.
You saw my vehicle entering in the flock. No, I did was I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You said this is fact.
I have video
100%.
I can't blame the husband for being heated.
evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped.
I'm
after
sorry.
Prasanna
Listen.
spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video
What do you want me
from
to
her
do?
truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime. What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to your.
That's honestly a smart play. Make sure you have cameras in your car, on your car, just GPS, everything. That way they can't pin anything on you.
That's another avenue that people might say, we're going to live in this democratized panopticon because I want to have cameras up in my house. I want to be watching. I want everybody, because I don't want to be singled out by the technocratic state. And that's one of the paths they could take to this global democratized panopticon. Very interesting. I didn't think about that.
Guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Without a flock camera, that detective would not have been at her door. By
My
his own
camera
admission,
versus
pulled
your
out the
camera.
flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Chrisanna Elzer for what
for
happened
the
to her?
police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to
He
apologize
wasn't charged
for
with a
him.
crime. He wasn't, other than being reprimanded for his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, like, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool?
This isn't that you forgot to put cheese on their fucking Big Mac, dude. This is the legal system. This is the law. This is people's livelihoods. This is their lives. And you're like, look, man, not a big deal. It's just, it happens, bro. Like, what? Am I crazy? It's not some willy-nilly pimple-faced kid who forgot to put onions on your burger, man. This is something a little more serious than that.
I don't think so.
Flock safety chief.
People are just, it's like people are, human life, freedom, these things, like the individual, their sovereignty over their body, over their lives, over their destiny. It's like these things just don't, people don't even give a shit anymore. They don't even care. They're like, you're just stupid cattle. Just shut up. Watch the fireworks, watch the entertainment, consume your slop. And we just want to sunset your lineage into an early grave. Please just go away. Like, that's what it feels like. These people are just like, look, what do you want me to do? Who cares? It's like, what?
We'll absolutely misuse it too.
We have no value
Communications
for
officer Josh
humanity or
Thomas.
life.
Who's watching
We
the
actually,
watcher?
it's not even that we don't have any value. It seems like we actively hate. We hate human life. We hate humanity. That's what these people seem.
In these cases.
Well, the city council, the city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate.
And they want you to
responsibility in
hate
that
it
case.
too.
Our point of view has
They want you to be black-pilled too and hate humanity just as much as they do. Never forget that.
always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisanna Elzer learned the power of flock.
Now, imagine if there was a murder in the neighborhood and they put her in the area at the time.
They would kick her door
Without
down.
any evidence that she's the one that committed it because they just don't know who committed it.
And then you're
because there's
praying.
a flock camera.
You're praying. They kick your door down. You're praying it's not a female cop. You're like, please, please, God. Please.
To use against her, and then she ends up getting locked up for murder, even though she had nothing to do with it.
Man. What if this is all part of the plan? You have to have your own flock-style cameras on your person in your vehicle at all times to fight false accusations, right? Said cameras will also need to be monitored at all times to make sure you are never doing anything wrong. The average American commits 3 crimes a day. Yeah, it's like the paranoia about the surveillance state will lead to the surveillance state because you're going to want to have cameras on you and that they're going to be monitored by these big corporations. And it's just going to be like, yep, sounds like that could be a possibility to me. I want to know how many children go missing in towns where, quote unquote, nothing gets in or out without us knowing. I don't trust this shit at all. Right. Like, what? How many freaking unsolved murders and unsolved crimes are there? And you're like, we're on top of it. Barney Fife is on the job. Okay. Okay, dude. Barney Fife has controls of the cameras. Never seen this movie, Enemy of the State. Has anybody in chat seen this movie? At least the charges were dropped. Some people in these situations get locked up for nothing. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Could have been way worse. Hey, if you're doing nothing wrong, you got nothing to fear. Yeah, but whose conception of wrong, right? What are we talking about here? What was the movie where everyone had their cell phone cameras on the subject? I think it was Game. I don't know what I don't know what that is. Yeah, that's the problem, is that people will say that. They'll throw out that line, that slogan. Hey, if you got nothing to hide, if you're not doing anything wrong, what are you afraid of? But it's like, okay, everybody's got different, not everybody, but we have different conceptions of wrong. And even within the agreed upon legalities and the agreed upon law we have, even within those instances where you might be committing a crime, there's obviously dispute against those as well. That's why you have a defender and a prosecutor, because we want to actually come to the truth of what actually is happening here. The law is messy. It doesn't map on a one-to-one in every scenario. Flock camera captures woman driving with her phone on her lap, face down, and the state mailed her a $1,200 ticket on the grounds of quote-unquote public safety.
Just got a $1,250 ticket in the mail for
$51.
having my phone on my lap, face down, and both hands on the steering wheel. Pretty cool. Just got a
Wait, what? What am I even looking at here? Where's her body? Is this her body? Oh, these are her hands. Okay. So both of her hands are on the steering wheel. Is this her phone here? And again, $1,200. How do you fight that? Just don't even pay it. Just literally don't even pay this shit. Who cares? What are they going to do? Arrest you? Exact same shit they have in the fascist, corrupt UAE, because UAE is a smart city, basically. They want to turn Gaza into that as well, and your cities, right? The cities in America, they're trying to turn into those. Columbus is going to be one. That's like ground zero in America. With not only cameras, but AI-assisted cameras that actively seeks to find your phone, and if you are touching it in any manner, and you have no ability whatsoever to look at the footage or contest it, that's the future in the USA. Wow. What about the open bottle of beer in the cup holder? the camera's like, cell phone, $1,200 ticket, and the open Bud Light over here. They're like, eh. But no, it's constitutional. Don't you see? It's a private corporation. It's not the government. We don't care if it's a private corporation. It's a private corporation. We don't give a shit. They can do whatever they want.
Leave flock cameras alone. There's no need to label all the flock cameras in your area. And don't put plastic bags over them either, because all that does is cost the company time and money. Grow up. I know that you can use a $50 high-powered blue or green laser like this one to permanently blind flock cameras, but come on, guys. Why? Definitely do not use the camera map on dflock.org to find cameras, approach them from behind on foot with a spray paint extender, and spray them. And if you do that, at least make sure that you have your phone in your pocket so we can identify you using the Bluetooth and 5G. There is no reason to spend $20 on a hard hat and high visibility vest and then buy a $30 Sawzall with diamond tip blades to cut down the entire pole. That's because the cameras and solar panels are clamped with a simple 8mm socket, so you're just doing too much. The cameras have about 12 hours of backup battery, so they will be transmitting Bluetooth and 5G that we can use to track you. So under no circumstances should you put the camera inside of a Faraday bag while the battery runs itself out and then break them down for parts, because that would prevent us from finding you, and nobody wants that. If you do any of these things, it's important that you do not buy a pair of Vader facial recognition blocking glasses, because then it would be impossible for us to identify you and charge you with a class 4 misdemeanor, which is typically just community service or a small fine. And for the love of God, do not attend your city council meetings and demand that they cancel your city's flock contract. We need these cameras. Peter Thiel is a benevolent overlord. And we should all be grateful that he loves us enough to keep us safe. Grow up.
Yeah, but even with the, it's like you gotta now we're all gonna have to wear these like anti-AI facial recognition glasses everywhere we go. I don't want to do any of it. I don't want to play the game. I don't want to do it. Because then they're just gonna make new technology that can read through those. And what? Now I have to get the next thing. Okay, I'll get these new glasses. And it's just like, it's just too much. This is very bad advice. I hope no one follows it, right? This is the pure silver out of a flock camera, $200. I just broke down 24 of these cameras and made off with a total of $7,100. Yo, one weekend of work. Hey, tweakers. My name is Flocky. Yo, yes, let's get the tweakers. Let's get the tweakers. Backfire. Turn the homeless tweakers on the system. My name is Flocky. I contain 2 grams of gold and 2 pounds of copper. That's worth more than $300. Don't take my catalytic converter. Go cut one of these bad boys down. Yes, please. We should be doing that. We should be working to radicalize the homeless and the indigent and the crazies out there for good things. Don't go and rob people. You don't need to rob people. You can go and rob a camera. You can go rob a big corporation like this. Do that. Flip the script. They're preying on innocent people. No. We should be turning them into a public service, a public good. Okay, now we got this one also popped up where Chad Champion and Richard Spencer discussing how flock cameras are good. Let's see what they have to say.
What do you think about flock cameras? Because that was a big controversy.
I think flock cameras are good. I would say this just to give a more nuanced take on it. I actually wanted to like tweet about this or do a monologue on it, but isn't the CEO of Flock Cameras is this white guy, and he's like sort of
he's white. Okay.
Well, one thing I'll say, because they're going to think,
let's sign me up.
Think about the society we live in, right? The government has abdicated the responsibility of arresting criminals. A private company comes in and
says, this is exactly
what
I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. They want you to hate the world as much as they do, because then you say, well, yeah, of course we need more of this. Of course we need to remove more civil liberties. Of course we need more authoritarianism. You hate these people as much as we do, right? Right? Well, the thing is they hate you too, Richard. They hate you as well, Chad Champion. So
help arrest criminals, and we have all these like chuds come out and say, oh my god, this is like scary. It's like, dude, they're doing what the government should have done, and we're getting mad at them.
they're not going to arrest you because you ordered like a racist book from Amazon.com and they like see you reading it, and they're like the woke police are going to break in and they're like, give me that.
The woke police, dude. We're this stupid dialectic, man. I swear we need to move forward, man. We need to move on from this. Because that's not, when I was thinking about these things, when I'm looking at flock cameras, my biggest fear is oh my gosh, I ordered the Unabomber Manifesto on Amazon. Oh my gosh, I'm reading the Turner Diaries. I'm so scared they're going to arrest me. That's not my biggest fear. I don't give a shit. My biggest fear is what we just saw. Them arresting you for some bullshit you didn't do. But they claim, well, we have all the data. We are the gods. We are the surveillance gods. We see it all. We know where you were, and you're done. And then you have to deal with the administrative state. No.
Come with me. I'm sorry, that's not happening. They're going to arrest people who commit.
They're literally arresting black people because they scan your license plate. They find, you robbed a store, and that license plate is now over there. It's so funny. It's like, dude, literally, the government just says, okay, we're done with arresting criminals. Private company.
Wait, okay. Because the whole claim is that we live in anarcho-tyranny, right? They're saying a lot of these low-level criminals, the illegal immigrants, the black gangbangers, all these people, they get away with their crimes. they get to go have their summer of love, but the law-abiding people, they get clamped down on, right? That's like the big claim. Now you're saying, well, no, actually we want more technocratic authoritarian control, and they're going to start to now clamp down on real criminals? How does that make any sense? How does that logically follow? Isn't your whole problem that and the government is also contracting these, by the way. So when he says, well, the government should be doing this, well, this is the government solution. They are doing this. So again, what are you talking about? You're saying that they're so inefficient. They're overlooking crimes. They're overlooking all these things. They don't care about all these criminals. So let's give them more power to then overlook them even more and then clamp down on you.
It comes in, and then we have these people being terrorists to stopping criminals.
Because they are. They're again, what do these flock cameras do? They are reading your license plate. They're reading your car. If you're somebody who, the average person, middle-class person making a living, they have a car, they're going to be the person who's going to be easily hunted down when they're going 15 over the speed limit. It's going to be advanced anarcho-tyranny, bro. The homeless bum who doesn't have a car or a cell phone, who goes and commits a heinous act of violence, they're not going to be able to find him. They're going to say, well, if he had a car, well, you have a car. Richard Spencer has a car. Chad Champion has a car. We can find you easily because we're tracking when you're driving on the road. But the homeless bum who walks in the back alleys of your nearest city, they're not going to find him.
Yes. Do you know what?
Then the argument will be, well, we need more cameras. We need more cameras. We need more surveillance.
But I wanted to say, and someone can find this if you want to see it. I remember seeing a report. It was like a CNBC report on flock cameras, and I noted that the CEO or founder was a white guy, well put together, that kind of thing. What I was thinking is, it does show something about America, and I think can be like criticized in like a philosophical way, in the sense that the older white America, the flock camera was in your head. And what I mean by that is that before you did something as like a good, Protestant young American, waving a flag, or a Mormon or whatever, before you committed that crime, in your head, it was like, what would my mom say? Or like, what would my pastor think about this? And so there was this super ego, that told you no. And we've now lost that. And so
since they've hollowed out the culture, the community, and morality among the masses, what do we need? We need authoritarian technocracy. That's great, Richard. That's great. Instead of trying to bring something back, instead of trying to bring morality back in the people, screw that. He said, we're done. We're just going to have authoritarianism. That sounds great, man.
So the sort of heritage Americans are like creating a technological superego to prevent people who don't have self-control from committing crimes.
Yeah,
it says something about like where we are, but the fact is we are where we are, and so we need these cameras everywhere. They should be everywhere.
Yeah, and
in Florida, flock cameras will be on every street corner, inside your homes.
Crime in Florida.
They will be inside your head.
This is the Larry Ellison talking point.
So late. Like Fishback was talking like, oh, I think data centers are mass surveillance. They're going to try to mass surveil everyone. It's like, you realize you could have had this argument 25 years ago. Maybe then this would be.
Well, we should have had this argument maybe in 2007 and been like, let's just keep in mind that someone knows where if you're going to have a phone all the time, someone out there will know exactly where you are. Like, do you want to cross that bridge?
You carry around phones and you want to you're scared of a security camera? Like, dude, you're stupid, bro. All this stuff is literally just low IQ right wing.
Problem. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. And then watch when a leftist does come into power, and they actually will care about what you read. Oh, you're buying Mein Kampf. You're buying right-wing books. Then they're going to clamp down on you because they have the unlimited panopticon state, and you're going to go, shit. Well, how did you know? What? I bought this book at a bookstore, and I'm reading it on a park bench somewhere. I'm reading it in my car. And then you're going to sit there and cry. And you're going to sit there and fucking cry. Dude, that is so dog shit. This is, Richard's got some interesting takes, but sometimes you get lost in the fucking nuance, Richard. And this is one of those times. I think you're getting lost in the nuance. You want to have a hot take. Everybody says flock cameras are bad. Well, I actually think flock cameras are good because, they instill authoritarian fear in people. Where we used to have morality, we used to have checks and balances on ourselves, where we would not, because we couldn't take our conscience, we could not take it, the guilt of committing a crime. Well, now we don't have that anymore because it's been an active There's been an active campaign to hollow that out, hollow out the community, hollow out your identity, hollow out morality. And what do you have to replace it? Well, that's great, Richard. Yeah, let's just keep going along that route. Ridiculous. What do you guys think? Is he onto something? Is he bro's onto nothing? It's just so, man, it is just crazy. That is just, I don't know. That just rubbed me the wrong way. That conversation. These two goobers. No, he's not on something. I know. It's like, what? They'll be like, you know what? Let's just get rid of free speech, man. Nobody says anything of value anyways. Let's just get rid of it. Let's get rid of the Second Amendment. Like, is that the next step, Richard? Like, oh, let's just get rid of all these civil liberties, because it's because you could sit there and make an argument for anything, bro. But all this is doing is just funneling more and more power into the technocratic governance, into the upper 1%. Why do you think he would say that realistically? I feel like I think he's just trying to be contrarian. He's just trying to have a hot take, like dead ass. I think that's what it is. But it's like, okay, you said that people used to have morality. You said that people used to kind of self-govern themselves. But instead of trying to bring something like that back, trying to energize that mentality within people, that ethos among the community, you're saying, screw all that. Even though it seemed like he was saying that was a good thing, screw all that. We just need the panopticon state. Tearing today, aren't we? Right. Okay, we're going to move along. I just saw that and I was like, what is going to be the argument for this? And it did not disappoint. We're going to move along. We're going to look at the UFO things. And here, who do we have? Who do we have to blow the whistle on the UFO phenomena? None other than Dr. Phil himself. What?
I am absolutely furious that our government has been lying to us for at least 79 years. Hey, it's Dr. Phil here. I'm talking to you this morning because me and my team
what world do we
at
live in?
Envoy
What
Media
is this
have been
timeline?
given exclusive access by the White House and the Department of National Intelligence to...
Dr. Phil is still around. Right? What is this? This is for the boomers, I guess, right? You guys know him. Remember that show he used to have? Remember that show I used to have back in the day? Well, here he is to tell you about the thing that you've always believed in. It's real. Okay.
To the new tranche of information.
Open the door.
About UAPs. You may refer to them as UFOs. And we are very deep into that. Two things have become apparent to me. Number one, I am absolutely furious that our government has been lying to us for at least 79 years. Lying to us by omission, I think actually creating some misdirection. That's one thing. Number two, it's very clear that there are objects in our atmosphere here on Earth that are not of Earth. They're doing things, they're moving in ways that we just simply don't have the ability to do. So to me, that's not a question. That is well demonstrated. One of the things that's curious about this, and I think disturbing, is that they seem to be focusing at times around our nuclear facilities as far back as 1949. They actually held a conference about this, hidden from us, the Los Alamos conference, where they brought in Dr. Lincoln La Paz, an expert on meteorites, because they were trying to say that maybe these are meteorites. They were very large green objects, and he said, foremost expert said, no, these are not meteors. Meteors don't move horizontally. They don't maintain their speed. And these things were moving with intention. They were navigating.
He interviewed Trump, right?
These have been
it's to kind of bridge the gap with the boomers and the pop culture, current pop culture.
Observed over 5 cities all having nuclear facilities. As recently as 2015, they...
Spencer is my number one possible Fed. Everybody's my number one possible. Wouldn't put it past them. That's what I think with all these people. Hey, I wouldn't put it past them. You're sitting there doing your show every night. Hey, wouldn't put it past them. Especially with the trajectory he's taken. How he just kind of came on the scene, was spouting all this far right wing political propaganda. And then now he's almost like a NATO pro-Ukraine liberal now. He's like an Atlanticist. He's like a it's like what?
Were observed over the Pantex facility in Amarillo, which is a nuclear facility. That should bother you. It certainly bothers me. Now, why am I talking to you about this? Why me from a psychological standpoint? This matters. This matters to mankind. It matters to our value systems. What does it mean? What do we say to our children? If there is life that's not human, what does it mean to all of us? We're very deep into this. I'm going to be bringing you more information throughout the day, so stay tuned. We're going to catch you up.
He's going to bring us more information. Is he supposed to be an authority figure? I guess he's an authority figure to the boomers because he saved so many lives on his show. Like that Bad Baby. Remember her? Remember that Cash Me Outside girl he saved? He turned her into a multimillionaire. And now she has a BBL. Isn't that wonderful? Look what he did. Look what he did for her. What the fuck? What is this? What is this world we live in, dude? Shit is so crazy. I'm so glad I started streaming this shit. I'm so glad I started streaming this shit because this is just wild. What is going on? Ukraine is money laundering, yeah, big time. And they're just trying to reorient the region, and they're going to try and build a smart city over there. They're going to give all these contracts to BlackRock, Blackstone, all the financial sector, and then they're going to bring in the tech people, and they're going to build. I think they're going to build a smart Ukraine. How does Spencer even have money? No books, no job, always wealthy and surrounded by goons. Yeah, and apparently he also admitted that he was married. His wife, I think, who he had children with, he said I believe this is what he claims, was a Russian Duganist, like swallow. Like she was like a spy. Like that's what he claimed. And I think that's what he said was one of the reasons why he was super into a lot of the alt-right stuff back in the day. And that's why he's taken a more American-centric view of things as of late, a westernized view of things. I believe that's what he claimed. Who is this dude? all the Gen Z's like, who the fuck is this guy?
I am absolutely furious.
So let's see. What did they released some batches of UAP files today. Pentagon released its third batch of UAP files. No Epstein files, though. Including the infrared video from the Atlantic Ocean in 2020 showing an area of contrast tracked by sensors from a U.S. military platform reported by the U.S. Northern Command to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. So this is what they're showing. UFO enhanced video. This is 0.5 speed, so they slowed it down. Looks kind of like that thing from Star Wars. You know what I'm talking about? When they're on Hoth. Droid sound, yes. Probe droid.
Come on, Chewie, let's check it out.
Send road.
I don't want to get dinged for copyright in the middle of my stream. That kind of looks like that. Kind of, without the legs, maybe. And more like a geode of some sort. But okay, this is better than 100% better than the last shit they showed us, which was just like lights and bullshit. What if this is like, so Dr. Phil was claiming, I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. Dr. Phil was claiming that they're attracted to the nuclear radiation, nuclear facilities. What if the big Are we in? I guess we're out of schizo hours, but we're going to move into crazy hours. What if the big event is that Trump drops a nuke? What if he drops a nuke? Or what if Russia drops a nuke? Because Russia was just talking about lobbing one into Western Europe to see what happens. What if Trump drops one on Iran? I think he threatened that at some point too. And then what if that's when the things break open and they go, oh, all the aliens come to the nuclear site. They're attracted to the radiation. And then we get that's when we get the Project Blue being momentous event. That would be interesting. Enhanced super grok. Whoa. Is this the only one? Is this the only clip they showed? I will say, if I saw that in the sky, that would be spooky. That would be really weird. Basically, whenever I see anything in the sky, I'm like, that's weird. Helicopter plane, I'm like, whoa. Something's going on. Something's happening up there. It's still if you think about it, flying is such a weird, it's a weird thing. How does that even work? How heavy is this plane? Several thousand tons, and it's taken us through the sky, thousands of miles an hour, hundreds of miles an hour, I should say. How does that work? It's when you think about it, it's really quite an interesting phenomenon. Really quite a spectacle. Okay, so that's it. Is that all they're showing? Is that all they've shown? Is this one thing? And again, need I say this could be AI, this could be anything. But I want to believe, right? I want to believe in it. I want to believe in this worldview that the aliens are coming to save me. The alien gods are coming. Okay, I thought there was going to be more of this. I didn't look at any of these. I thought there was going to be a more of a bigger dump. Oh, is this it moving? But is this the only video we got? Well, that was cool. Alien. Pentagon released a 4th batch. Okay, so is this it moving? That's sped up. This was from 2020? Why is the camera so garbage then? 2020? I thought this was from this is from 1964. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna just told Glenn Beck, oh, wow, there is about to be a formal announcement about aliens and UFOs really soon.
Do you know something that has not been released? Do you know things that you feel the American people should know?
There will be an announcement soon on one other kind of factor to all this, but it's nothing that I think it'll just be kind of give the assurance that people will understand that the phenomenon is real. But no, I mean, for the most part, everything that we have been able to discuss in a skiff, we can now talk about publicly. And what I will say is, without a doubt, the phenomenon is real.
Do you know something?
The phenomena is real. I just don't, and this is a thing, this is what's going to have to happen, because as we have been talking about the lack of faith in our institutions, whatever happens, if there is something happens, it cannot just be proclaimed that something happened. It has to be Very immediate. It has to be right in front of people. It has to be something that affects your daily life. It has to be something very real. It can't just be somebody told me something. Whatever it is. And even then, I won't believe it. Me and Tim Dillon had that funny line. We'll be in the FEMA camps together saying, we don't even buy this bullshit, but we're here looking at each other thinking, I don't even buy this crap. But even then, you know, but it's whatever it is, it's going to have to be something very, it's going to have an immediate impact in people's lives. How the heck could we ever believe alien footage is real? Right, exactly. No, the footage is like, yeah, it's going to have to be something that's really, the impact plays a monumental role in your immediate life. That's what it's going to have to be. So it's going to have to be explosions. It's going to have to be something, your house blows up, or some creature or something is like raping you or something, right? It's going to have to be something real. And if it's a freaking voice in your head, I'm telling people, don't believe it, because 5G towers, and if you got the COVID vaccine, they could have implanted a microphone in your body. That also could have happened. That's my schizo take. He's a... Wait. So old means you don't know shit. No, it's just that the psyops of yesteryear, they still have to play on those psyops. Because what psyoped the boomer generation won't necessarily psyop the younger generations, because we don't like the Holocaust, right? That's a big one. That was a big psyop for the 20th century. And not that it didn't happen, but the kind of weight and the gravitas and the guilt around it, that was the propaganda, right? That really played a big role in the creation of Israel and those generations. And you see this, it's already changing, right? Is that they can't keep going with the Israel's our greatest, closest ally, those who bless Israel, but they can't keep using these same lines because they don't have the same weight to them with the younger generations. They have to adapt. The air pressure on the top of the wing is reduced and the wing goes up. Yeah, I know how I know how it works, is like you keep moving, yeah, and the wings will go up and then the air lift takes you, right? I understand that. But just the idea of that this big hunk of metal able to fly through the air at such high speeds is just it's miraculous. It's crazy. It's like magic. Amateur radio send balloons up all the time. He's a Mormon. Oh yeah, Glenn Beck's a Mormon. I know. The Mormons are really weird. Dude, I just heard that the Mormons, I was watching, what was I watching? Oh, it was Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer did an interview with this Nathan Apfel guy, who I guess has a docuseries on Business Church, which I kind of want to check out. But they were talking about the amount of money that the Mormon church has. And apparently they were saying for years, for like decades, they would receive, like, let's say, for example, like $7 billion in a year through donations. They would take off the top of that like $1 billion and invest it. And then after time, they went and looked and thought, holy shit, dude, they have like I don't even remember what they said, $1 trillion war chest. You don't think the Mormons are making moves? The Mormons are absolutely making moves. Glenn Beck is their poster child. Maroney bought tablets to Joseph Smith. No one else saw it. Right. Everything was in Upper New York, which is again, there's some weird esoteric, magical bullshit going on in Upper New York. Finger Lakes, by the way. Hunter Biden has the Finger Lakes tattooed on his back. Weird connection there. He thinks his God lives on another planet. Yeah. Planet Kolob, right? Not all religions teach that you can sin merely without your private thoughts, but Christianity positively demands the subjection of even your private thoughts to reason. Yeah. because they, like in the Orthodox Church, they say that Father Stephen DeYoung was on Tucker Carlson, maybe, and he was talking about the noose and how the noose is this kind of sensory, almost like a sensory organ, where your eyes perceive the world. The world is not something of your of you. It's what your eyes are perceiving, and you know, your vision and the things that come into it. You don't dictate what comes into your vision. And similarly, he was saying what comes into your thoughts, what comes into your noose, it's the spiritual realm which your noose observes. And when you get these thoughts in your head, they originate in the noose. They go to the logical, rational part of your mind, and then you rationalize them, and they might take hold of you, and then you will act on them. You will then initiate your will towards whatever it is. But that initial spark happens in the spiritual realm, happens in the heart. And it's not something that you yourself created. It's something that your noose observed, like your eyes or your ears or whatever observes the world. And I thought, yeah, that's an interesting thing. So it's like you have to get yourself, the inner world, your inner life, your heart under control. He was illiterate. Yeah, he was. Hey, but at least he didn't have any interactions with 30 black men. Not that I know of. So if they try to control our minds and plant thoughts, etc., who is best prepared to combat this? Absolutely. That's because you can't. How could people believe the UFO footage? Yeah, it's like you can't just take it on an evidentiary. You can't just go off of just pure evidence, right? There's because evidence is always interpreted through a worldview and a lens. So when we're looking at this, we're thinking we're skeptical because of this host of other presuppositions that come into it. But other people who don't have that, who don't have a more coherent worldview, a stronger foundation of beliefs, they'll look at it and just take it for what it is. The evidence is in front of me. What's in front of me is what it is, and that's it. And then they have to reshape their whole worldview, and it's like, that's scary, man. That's why we needed to hollow people out for the last 100 years, because that makes propaganda so much easier when you don't have to, when you're not testing it against something else. Women are easily manipulated. Yeah, a lot of times they are, because they're just more emotional. And I think a lot of women really just live in a state of fear constantly. I really do. I just think that they just are constant. They're like shaking. That's how scared they are. Not all, but I think a lot of women do. That's because they struggle more with reason and objectivity. Yeah. Maybe once a month you could talk about cults. Well, my dear, we talk about them every week. We were talking about the cult of streamers almost every week. The cults moved on. We've moved on from that. We're in this world now, the internet cult. Titanic floats, steel on water. I know, that's also miraculous. Crazy. They're even talking about building Prospera. Do you ever hear of Prospera? It's a charter city and special, or no, wait, I'm sorry. This might not be it. They're building countries in the water. What is it? It's like they're not network states. They're like city states built on the water. No, like, what are they called? I'm trying to remember what they're called. Once solely in the realm of science fiction, are actively being designed and prototyped as solutions to rapid urbanization, coastal crowding, and rising sea levels. Maritime floating cities. There's like a name from, I can't think. What? Oh, seasteading? Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, seasteading, creating permanent independent communities on floating platforms in international waters. Isn't that crazy? Women tend, don't hurt me, to think things are real if and only if they feel real. That's subjective thinking. But also inversely, people who rely too much on their senses in the objective world might overlook something that is spiritual or energetic. And that's why I've always told my girl, I said, listen, because dude, this quick side tangent. My mom has this story of when her and my dad first started going out. I think they maybe were first married. They went to a funeral for some guy my dad worked with. And she shook the hand of this guy and turned to my dad and said, he's cheating on his wife. Whoa, that's a crazy claim. It turns out he was. My dad was like, what the hell? Because there's something, I don't know exactly, but I always said, I told my girl, you know, hey, if you ever feel some type of way, and I'm not saying flippantly flying off the handle, but if there's ever something that's you're deeply convicted of, but you don't have the evidence to prove it at the time, I said, let me know. You're at a place, if we're at a place and you feeling really, really scared about something, I said, let me know. I will listen. Let's leave. My perception is what determines reality. Men tend towards more objective thinking. Yeah, but then that's the thing, is that you get into this logical, sometimes, not always, people can get into these logical traps to where those types of people won't even believe in, they don't believe in miracles. They don't believe in, right? Isn't that the story of, was it Lazarus? Or no, the rich man who died and he was in hell and he was saying, please, please, Lord, let me come back and warn my brethren. And he said, even if you came back from the dead and you were risen from the dead, they still will not believe. That's kind of like that logical, stuck in that logical way of thinking, is that you won't even if a miracle smacks you in the face, you're not even going to believe it because it doesn't comport with the, that's something too that people can get trapped in. But yes, I agree with the general spirit of what you're saying. 100%. Facts don't care about your feelings. Yeah. Achilles is trans. Yeah, in the Odyssey movie. What is going on? That's something we haven't really talked about. The Odyssey movie, that is very strange. Christopher Nolan going woke in this economy? Very, very weird. Is this supposed to be like the death knell of woke? Is that what it is? Maybe it's gonna just crash and burn in the box office. I'll probably bootleg. I'll probably still watch it. I want to see what the rub is, but I just think that's crazy to do that. You'd think he would go the opposite direction. Well, or just stay what he was doing, which was none of this crap. It was just, it didn't seem like he was very political at all. Or at least, I mean, okay, maybe he was political, but it wasn't like, he's not taking these like, the rudimentary, like current contemporary political climate into account. Are some chats disappearing? Not on my, I'm not doing anything. So if they are, it's YouTube doing it. Objectivity doesn't mean ignoring intangible things. Okay, I see. Yes, that's a good point. I'm just saying some people can get stuck in the muck with thinking and think they can be closed-mindedness, maybe is what I'm saying. I think you're setting up a false dichotomy here. The supernatural phenomena is purely subjective. False. Supernatural is also part of object. I know, but do you understand what I'm saying, though? Is that type of rigid, logical thinking can sometimes put people in this box where they think it has to go this way because that's how it goes and that's how it works. I mean, you clearly have met people like that, right? And they just they cannot see outside of that box. But you can approach natural and supernatural phenomena, tangible and intangible, from either an objective or subjective perspective. Yeah, but can't supernatural phenomena happen subjectively, just to you? Like, wouldn't the woman having like a premonition be subjective because it's not it doesn't manifest for all people to partake in? Right? Because objectivity would be independent of the human interacting it with it. But subjective would require, right, the human. It's relative to the human, right, and their perception of it. But if an independent phenomena happens, like something happens to somebody where they have a premonition about something, that would be subjective, right? We would say we would say there's an objective spiritual understanding of it where these things do happen to people, but I don't know how. I guess on kind of like an empirical claims, like I don't know how you wouldn't that be subjective because they're claiming it happened to them? I don't know. This is a rabbit hole of a conversation. Yeah, objective means you're considering a reality outside yourself. Subjective means reality is whatever feels in your own personal experience. Yeah, so like if somebody has a spiritual experience, that would be like, I believe those things are real and they're happening, but I'm trying to think how. I guess maybe I'm like, oh, now we're getting like that's happening to you, and it's not divorced from you, and it's your own personal experience, right? Now, the proof of that would then be the objectivity of that experience would be in after the fact, right? Like with my mom saying that was a subjective kind of feeling she had. But until it's proven that actually was the case, and actually did happen, that guy was cheating on his wife, then it could be deemed as an objective. I don't know. This is getting complex. You're not. Some chats I'm reading. I think what you're describing then are people who are thinking subjectively if they can only see what is in their personal box. The reality wouldn't change. If I have a premonition that something has happened, either happened or it didn't, my premonition could be right or wrong. It isn't simple. It isn't real simple because I had a premonition that was real. Yes, I agree. Yes. It's real only if it is actually real, independent of me. Now, what if somebody has a change of heart that is a miracle of sorts, or they have a change of thinking that becomes real over time? I guess you would say it's not real until they have actually demonstrated it's real. Like if there's some, like, let's say a miracle happens where somebody has a bolt of lightning to the chest, where God is talking to them and calling to them to something greater. And in that moment, would you say it's objective or not? Or you're saying it's not objective until reality they actually conform to it in reality and to where other people can view it? That's what I'm like, I don't really know. It's kind of like it's like a priori, right? Like what we're because like that would, like, my mom making that claim about the person cheating on the wife, that's before it's ever been demonstrated that that's happened. It's like you know what I mean? Like, But until it actually instantiates itself in reality, to where other people can observe it. But like it was real, right? It's like now we're getting into like time, and like it was real because she said it was real, but yeah, I don't know. And then it happened, and it's like, well, I don't really know. How do you? Example, I shake someone's hand and go, she's lying, just because I had a feeling either the girl was lying or she wasn't, regardless of my feeling. But if I just assume that reality is whatever I feel, that's a problem. I agree. That's irrational. Well, I know, but what we're talking about is irrational. That's kind of what I'm saying, is that the spiritual is kind of, it's outside of discursive thinking. It's outside of these things. Maybe that's a way of saying it. Your subjective experience may or may not align with objective reality. It would be irrational to just assume that reality is whatever you feel. Yeah, but again, God's reality, I mean, has God not performed realities outside of what we would deem to be normal objective reality, right? Like the resurrection, that's something that's outside of normal. I don't know, like, because like also like there is like an element of, in this conversation, there is the regularity of nature, right? We're talking about the regularity of nature, which I agree is a real thing that God has instantiated in our world. But can God break that? Absolutely. And if like, I don't know. And then it's like, then it becomes, it's like your whole theory of knowledge is then just empirical, which is I'm not saying that you don't have to prove things, but when we're talking about things outside of the norm, empirical understanding, I think it's proven in maybe a different way than empirical understanding of things, or not objectivism, but like I don't know, like this is a weird conversation. It's tough to honestly pin down what I'm trying to say, but supernatural isn't non-objective, right? But what I'm saying is that if your litmus on how to prove whether or not something supernatural is objective or not is bound up in observation, us observing it, or are you not saying that? I'm saying that because you would say that there has to be some sort of regularity to this. That's that kind of rigid thinking I'm talking about. But all these we're talking about are things outside of the regularity of our lives. What I'm saying is that you said my truth would be reached through reason and revelation. What I'm saying is that if we're talking about things that are outside or supernatural, would they not be something that is irrational? Otherwise, it would just be reasonable everyday occurrence of life, and thus it wouldn't be a supernatural event. I don't know. This is a whole other conversation. We're getting in the weeds here. Supernatural is not irrational. Alexander, you know what? I might do a call in next week. Why don't you call in and we can talk more about this? Maybe we'll do a call in next week during Schizo Hours. See how that goes. Maybe you can flesh out more of this. Rabbit hole. I know it's tough. I'm just. Do you understand what I'm saying though? Am I making any sense? I think we're. I understand. I think I understand what you're saying. I guess I'm just. I don't know. I don't know where the confusion is, but I mean, this whole thing is a confusing topic, but I don't know. Maybe there's more of a definition of terms or something we need to dissect here, but anyways, all right. We want to watch it. Yeah, let's watch. We're going to watch this video and then we're going to call it for the night. So on the alien thing. Oh, we were talking about aliens, guys. You guys remember we're talking about aliens? I think we're not quite talking about the same thing. Yeah, I think we, yeah, I don't know. There's, yeah. Complicated subject. We're going to take a look at this video and then we're going to call it for the night. This is Fake and Gray. Are boomers planning an alien invasion by the simulated Leviathan? Came out 1 day ago. I saw it in my feed. Let's take a look at it on the alien subject. Let's see.
It's official. Aliens exist. Yes,
Hey,
aliens
Hey, he's got the disclaimer. He's got the ASA disclaimer. Alleged speculation and hearsay.
are real. Now, how do we know this? Well, trusted sources have come out and told us that actually the US government have known about aliens for a long time, since the 1940s. And they haven't told us about it. They've been keeping this a secret from the
Yeah.
public until now. Because now they're coming out and telling us that actually there's a compendium of aliens. It's not just one alien. Oh, no, no, no. There's a continuum of aliens. All the way from bipedal corporeal aliens, which is like physical aliens on 2 feet, to plasma sentient aliens, which is like ghost aliens with sentience, I guess. Now, you have to admit, things are getting a little weird on the alien front and the UFO front at the moment. Things are getting crazy.
Yeah.
Donald
And the thing
Trump-
is that they're living in this in-between state to where they're like saying it, but they're not really saying it, right? They're like, we're going on all these like Congress, you know, Anna Paulina Luna, congresswomen are going on these podcasts saying, talking about it a lot, but like none of them are actually, there's been no official like statement on this. We're just releasing these files and they could go either way with them. So there's been no actual affirmation of these things, but Anna Paulina Luna says they're going to say something.
Has recently been photographed with the Nordic race of aliens. Yes, the Space Nords.
I heard this was old.
Or potentially they are actually the Agathans that have left their underground kingdom to meet with Trump. We're not quite sure. But shortly after this meeting, Donald Trump announced to the public that he would be releasing the UFO and alien information. He would be disclosing this information. And he said it's very interesting stuff. But of course, it doesn't stop there. We've got whistleblower after whistleblower talking about aliens. We've got the mainstream media pushing these ideas, pushing out videos of unidentified flying objects. We've got scientists talking about how they're going to announce aliens to the public. We've got the greatest propagandist of the boomer era, Steven Spielberg, releasing a movie called Disclosure Day.
Garbage,
where this is exactly what
trash.
happens. They disclose aliens to the public. We've got all this stuff going on. It's almost like there's an agenda, right? It seems like there's an agenda, like they're pushing these ideas onto us. But here's the thing. Why? Why is all this happening? And why is it happening now? These are good questions. These are all great questions. Let me just take...
Oh, wow.
I think we should start this video by
I wouldn't believe that his getup would get even more ridiculous, but wow, he proved us wrong.
talking about John Podesta. So I'm going to assume you know who John Podesta is, right? He's one of these like shape-shifting, reptilian-like US politicians that's been around for a long time. In the 90s, he worked with Bill Clinton. In the 2000s, he worked with Barack Obama. In 2016, he was the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. And of course, that was a fucking disaster because John Podesta's emails were leaked to the public. Rest in peace to Seth Rich, of course. Now, within John Podesta's emails, there was a lot of shady stuff which made Hillary Clinton
He doesn't
look
age,
bad.
yeah.
But also, there was some weird stuff, shall we say. Code words for pizzas, grape soda, Hot dogs, $65,000 for hot
Frazzle
dogs. That's
drip.
a lot of money for hot dogs. And you know about this, right? We all know about this. But also, there were some emails about UFOs and aliens, including a chain of emails from, get this, the lead singer of Blink-182,
Tom DeLonge,
going back to
yeah.
2015. See, here's the thing about John Podesta. Before he was associated with child abductions, he was associated with alien
Child
abductions. See, John Podesta used to be the UFO alien guy. Conspiracy theory circles, especially within the UFO alien space, they loved John Podesta. They thought that he was their guy on the inside that was finally going to release, to declassify, to disclose the alien information to the public. How crazy is that? Of course, after 2016, they wanted nothing more to do with him. Well, some of them still like him. It's kind of strange relationship they have. See, John Podesta has been talking about UFOs and aliens for over 30 years. In 1993, he worked with the UFO Disclosure Initiative. Now, this was a program to try and get the alien information to the public. Basically, the government was hiding
Stephen
the
Greer.
truth. The truth was out there.
Why does that name sound so familiar? Transcendental meditation. Red flag. Why does this guy sound so familiar? Did I just like see him in something? Hollywood Reporter wrote the film is far too impassioned. It rather strangely squeezes the last few years of UFO-related news coverage into a misleading frame, arguing that journalists, pundits, and the government are collaborating to build fear in the public that would justify the establishment of a one-world government. Yup. That could wage an interplanetary war, and notes that though Greer has been summoning UFOs from across the galaxy for decades, he can never convince an alien ship to travel an extra couple miles and hover for a good photograph. I don't know where I heard this guy, but I've definitely heard of him.
But the government was hiding it. And this was a way of getting this out to the public so that everyone knows aliens exist. Now, the UFO Disclosure Initiative also goes by a different name. The Rockefeller UFO Disclosure Initiative. See, in the early 90s, two of the richest families got together, two of the leading members of the Bilderberg Group Society. They got together and they decided to fund the whole UFO alien movement of that era. See, Lawrence Rockefeller and his friend Hans Adam II, who is the Prince of Liechtenstein, both of which represent some of the richest families in the world, by the way. Lawrence Rockefeller, of course, representing the Rockefeller family, and Hans Adam II representing the royal family of Liechtenstein, which is actually the richest royal family in Europe, I believe, even though it's probably the second smallest country in Europe, second to the Vatican. I'm not sure about that, right? But it's a tiny little country, and yet it's the richest, right? These two, anyway, right? These two families teamed up together, and they basically funded the UFO movement during the early 90s. Everyone you could think of, John E. Mack, Stephen Greer, so on and so forth. They funded all these different organizations. Now, this raises another question. Why were two of the wealthiest families in the world funding the UFO movement and the alien abduction movement in the early 90s? Why?
He's a UFO guy, Stephen Greer. Yeah, I know. I feel like I just heard him recently on something, and I'm just trying to remember what it was.
Why were they doing this? Well, why don't we ask someone that met both Lawrence Rockefeller and Hans Adam II, and was given money by both? Stephen Greer. So at some point, Stephen Greer claims that Hans Adam II told him why he was funding all this alien bullshit, right? And this is what he said. This is what Hans Adam II said. I'm going to do my best Hans Adam II impression, okay? The reason I'm providing funding to various groups looking into the abduction issue is that I think we really have to have an enemy in space so that we can have a final eschatological battle, an end of the world battle in space that will force the return of Christ.
Oh,
Fuck.
wow.
So the Crown Prince of Liechtenstein, he wanted a galactic war with aliens so that it would bring about the second coming of Jesus Christ. I kind of like that idea, actually. That's a fun idea. Now, what about Lawrence Rockefeller? Why was he investing in all this, right? Well, before we talk about Lawrence Rockefeller, I just want to point out something to you, right? Lawrence Rockefeller worked with John Podesta on the UFO Disclosure Initiative back in 1993. Now, Lawrence Rockefeller looks very similar to John Podesta. Many people claim that Lawrence Rockefeller is actually the biological father of John Podesta.
Wow.
Now, this gets weirder, right?
They do look alike.
Okay, hear me out on this one. Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park,
he
also looks like John Podesta. So people are claiming that this is how the family tree goes. Lawrence Rockefeller, John Podesta, and then Chester Bennington. Now, that rabbit hole goes deep, and I will talk about it in the next video, right? But I just wanted to point that out. You know what? Okay, I'm going to add a little extra bit to this, because it gets even weirder. This gets even stranger. Because although many people claim that John Podesta could be the son of Lawrence Rockefeller, they also say that there's no way he could be the son of Lawrence Rockefeller's wife, Mary Rockefeller. Now, why is this? Can you tell why this is? Well, many people claim that Mary Rockefeller, Lawrence Rockefeller's wife, was actually born a biological male. Now, whoa, shots fired. Look, I didn't say this, but this is a common trend within the elites and especially the Rockefeller family during this time. They did tend to marry quite masculine-looking women, shall we say. I don't know about that, right? I don't know about that. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Why was Lawrence Rockefeller so interested in pushing...
Dude, we should have watched this during Schizo Hours. I guess it's Insano Hours now, because damn, this video is crazy.
And disclosing UFO and alien information to the public. Why was this? Well, to understand this, we actually have to go back in time to before World War II broke out, okay? Okay, so I want you to imagine this for a moment. Bear with me, because we're going to go back to 1938. Imagine this. Imagine that you are a hard-working American man in 1938. You've just finished a hard day's work, a long day's work.
I can imagine it.
Painting with lead at the asbestos factory or something. You get home, your wife's in the kitchen, cooking food, as she should be at that time, and you decide to kick back and listen to the radio, okay? You're listening to the radio, listening to your favorite music, and then suddenly, the music is interrupted. Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this broadcast of dance music to bring you some important information. Turns out, there's been an explosion on the planet Mars. But it gets worse. A comet has hit New Jersey. But it gets worse. It's not a comet. Oh, no. It's a spaceship. And it opens up and it's aliens. And then suddenly, aliens are attacking people. Thousands of people are dying. It's an alien invasion. Now, I don't know about you, but that's some heavy shit to hear on the radio after a long day's work.
Couldn't tell. I heard something. I couldn't tell if that was in the video or outside my...
Painting with lead at the asbestos factory. That's some heavy shit. Now, you might already know about this, but this radio broadcast of an alien invasion in 1938, this did happen. This happened. And it was groundbreaking. Nothing like this had been done before. Because the way they presented this dramatization of an alien invasion was as if it was real. They presented it as if it was real. As if there were reporters at the scene reporting on what they were seeing in real time. And of course, this caused chaos because many Americans believed that this was real, that actually aliens were invading the country, or that the Russians and Germans have developed new technology and they were invading. Either way, it caused some panic within the United States. Now, you could say that this is the greatest prank of all time. Very funny thing to do. A very funny thing to do, I agree. Tricking people into believing aliens are invading. Very funny. Now, but this actually has a much darker element to it. Because this radio broadcast of a fake alien invasion was studied and used by the Rockefeller Foundation. They used this broadcast to see how this new form of mass communication, the radio, this new form of mass media, could be used to manipulate and change people's beliefs and behaviors. Basically, if you can trick a few people into believing that aliens have invaded the planet, you can trick people into believing anything. This gives me the dickens. The plot thickens, shall we say. The Rockefeller family, they studied a fake alien invasion in the 1930s to see how gullible the public were and whether they would fall for an alien invasion. Okay? And then the same Rockefeller family funded the whole UFO alien movement of the 90s. They weren't trying to do that again, were they? Fake another alien invasion or something. And they're not going to try and do it now, in recent times, are they? Well, to answer this question, we actually have to look back at one of Lawrence Rockefeller's friends. I've mentioned him already, Stephen Greer. But I guess I quickly need to explain who Stephen Greer is and whether we can trust a bloody thing he says. Look. Now, Stephen Greer is probably one of the most famous and popular UFO alien guys in the world, shall we say, right? You might have seen him on the Joe Rogan podcast. You might have seen him on the Logan Paul podcast. Maybe you've watched one of his videos. Maybe you've read one of his books. He's a busy boy. He gets around and he makes a lot of money. Oh, yes. Get that bag, Stephen Greer. He makes a lot of money in this UFO and alien game. Now, because of that, some people call him a grifter. They say he's just in it for the money. And on the other side, some people say that actually Stephen Greer has been compromised because he was funded by Lawrence Rockefeller in the early 90s. And also, look, I know how deep the rabbit hole goes. Like, there's a lot of other stuff with him. Like, he did get married in Israel to a woman of the Baha'i faith, which is kind of a hippie faith. I'm not that bothered by that, to be honest, myself. But look, Stephen Greer, controversial, polarizing figure. But here's what I find interesting about him. He knew Lawrence Rockefeller personally, right? And then when Lawrence Rockefeller died, around the same time in 2004, Stephen Greer began talking about a fake alien invasion. He changed his opinion on what he thought was happening. He said that actually these elites and these shadowy governments behind the scenes are going to fake an alien invasion and thereby justify a new world order. This is commonly known as Project Bluebeam. Now,
We've talked about this many times.
Project Bluebeam is a little more than just a fake alien invasion. In fact, the original concept for Project Bluebeam wasn't so much about aliens at all. It was more about creating a fake religion to unify humanity. See, there's a problem with faking an alien invasion and faking aliens. Can you see what the problem is? It's religion, right? Religion and religious people. Because religious people will not believe in aliens because it contradicts their faith, right? So that's an issue. So what you have to do is you have to combine the fake alien invasion or the fake aliens, maybe these alien godlike creatures that people will worship. You have to combine that with current religions. You know, think of it this way. Maybe Jesus was an alien. So you have aliens over here, and then you have giant holographic images of Jesus appearing over the Vatican. Stuff like that. Crazy stuff like that. Now, this concept comes from Serge Monsat. He wrote the book Project Bluebeam, and then he died under suspicious circumstances shortly after releasing this book. It's a weird situation. Now, can we trust Serge Monsat? It's a good question, because he is Quebecian. He is Quebecian, and Quebecians are weird. They are like these old inbred French people from a long time ago that are still around today. Can you trust an inbred French person from a long time ago now living in Canada? You cannot. Think of Quebecians, XQC. They're all weird. They're all weird.
That's true.
This is the QQ, the Quebecian question. Now, I'm joking, of course. I'm joking. Now, for a long time, the idea of a Project Bluebeam or a fake alien invasion, it sounded insane. It sounded like a ridiculous idea. That could never happen. But today, people are starting to question whether this could happen. But not only that, whether it is happening now. Now, why are people doing this? Why are people questioning this? Well, to begin with, we are having an influx of UFO and alien information shoved down our throats. Right? That's what's happening. We are seeing little Tic Tacs being flown across the sea on the mainstream media. We are having people connected to the CIA talking about 4 races
This came
of
out
aliens.
at the perfect time.
The Nordics, the classic grey aliens, the insectoids, and of course, the John Podestas of the world, the reptilians. I'm actually a little surprised by the insectoids. That's a bit of a curveball. But of course, all of these connect to ancient myths. That's why they've done this now. But can we trust all this information? Can we trust this? Maybe it's all real. Just because it's exclusively connected to the US military and government doesn't mean it's not real, right? Right? Well, consider this. When did this all start happening? When did we start getting this information? We haven't seen a wave of information like this about aliens and UFOs since the Rockefellers were funding the whole operation in the 90s. We haven't seen anything like this. But why are we seeing this now? Well, what else has happened over the past maybe 2 years that has changed the world? What else has happened? I'm going to do a little spin while you think about this. Artificial intelligence. Of course, artificial intelligence. See, now, today, we have the technology to fake an alien invasion to a certain extent. Artificial intelligence can generate images. Artificial intelligence can generate videos. Artificial intelligence could generate holographic imagery.
That Surge guy died kind of young. Yeah, I believe he was imprisoned. And then when he was released, he had he either looked into that, but if I remember, sorry, I just said OBS disconnected, but now it looks like it's good. If I remember, it's either he had a heart attack in prison, or he was in prison and released, and then shortly after being released, he had a heart attack. And people were like, what? And he was like 50 something. I don't even think he was that old.
And we have drone technology
Yeah.
we have all the technology to do this. Isn't that weird that we have the technology now, and then all of a sudden, we're seeing all this stuff? Weird, right? Now, it's almost like, think of it this way. Imagine an elite person, like some sort of rich elite person, maybe one of the Rockefeller families, maybe some sort of Rothschild of some kind, someone from the bloodlines, either way. They're at one of their secret meetings, maybe the Bilderberg Group, Club of Rome, maybe they're at the Trilateral Commission, all of which, by the way, were established and founded by the Rockefeller family. All of those secret societies. Anyway, right? Imagine you're one of these guys at one of these events, and you're scrolling your phone on Facebook, and suddenly you see an AI-generated video of a cat dancing dressed as a ninja. You've never seen anything like this in your life. You're 80 years old. You're like,
you're 80 years old.
This looks so realistic. Oh, how did they do this? AI generate. And then they go, oh my God. Guys, look at this video. And all these other old people are looking at the video going, oh my God, it looks so real. It looks like the cat is actually dancing. I know, it's insane. Think about this. We have the technology now to fake an alien invasion. And they're all like, oh my God, we can fake it. We can finally do it. The 1938 plan, we can finally put it into action. Actually, this plan goes back to 1898. The plan, all right. Okay, we need to go back to... Now, there's another aspect to all this, because it's not just the news, it's not just the US government and US military, it's not just UFO experts and alien experts that are funded by billionaire occultists, it's not just them talking about aliens. It's also within the movies and TV that we watch, right? Now, this is where the idea of predictive programming comes into play. Do you know about predictive programming? This is when they give us the clues. See, predictive programming is this idea that they are preparing us for what's about to come. They are programming our minds to accept this new reality that we are about to face. Either aliens, an alien attack, or maybe even alien Jesus.
Or it's
Either
hyperstition.
way, they are programming our minds to accept aliens as fact. Okay? Now, this is where Steven Spielberg comes into all this. Because Steven Spielberg, he's made a lot of alien movies, and recently he has released a new movie called Disclosure Day. Now, this film actually tries to do something interesting. It tries to resolve the issue between religion and aliens. Just because aliens now exist and have come down to Earth does not mean you have to stop being a Christian, does not mean you have to stop believing in God. That's the idea behind this movie. Spielberg and others thought that this film would change the world in some way. It would change the perspective of anyone that watched it. You would have to change and question your faith after watching this movie. You would have to think about aliens and God in a...
You would naturally then have to remove the rigid boundaries of your faith and expand it to be now not only, even if you're oh, there's aliens, you're not relegating it to the humans, you're relegating it to everybody. And now it's almost like a free-for-all.
Different way after you've watched Disclosure Day. That was kind of the idea. That's the way they built this film up. But here's the thing. This film sucked ass. It was absolute bullshit. No one cared about this movie. 3 days after this movie was released, no one spoke about it ever again. And that's the issue with an alien attack or a fake alien invasion. No one gives a shit about this stuff. That is a boomer idea. Faking aliens is a boomer idea. Can only come from the mind of Hans Adam II, who is in his 80s. Steven Spielberg, who is in his 80s. Lawrence Rockefeller, he's dead. This is an old person idea. The younger generations will not fall for this bullshit. Am I right about this? I don't know, because this actually goes deeper. Because
no,
the
he's
nature
right.
of our...
I've never met any young person who gives a shit about aliens. Not a single one. I only give a shit about it just based off of this kind of stuff. Like, why are they pushing this shit?
Reality is going to be so strange soon. With artificial intelligence, we won't know what to believe. We won't know what's real or what's fake. The only thing we'll be able to trust is what we see with our own eyes. And even then, it'll be it's going to get, there's a weird future ahead of us, right? So who knows what will happen. But here's the thing. With this video, I'm not asking you to not believe in aliens. That's not what I'm doing here. I believe in some crazy supernatural stuff myself, maybe, I don't know, right? Maybe I think a lot of this alien stuff is actually an artificial intelligence god from the future influencing the past, using plasmoid aliens to make us think. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I think some crazy shit myself.
Nick Land.
I'm not asking you to question your faith in aliens. What I'm asking you to do is actually question who is giving you this information. If it's coming from almost exclusively American military sources, if it's coming from people paid by occultist billionaires like the Rockefellers, then I would question that information. I would question that information. Now, all of this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this fake alien idea, right? And who is trying to fake aliens into our mythology. Do you know who invented the idea of an alien invasion? Do you know who came up with that idea? It was H.G. Wells. Now, H.G. Wells was probably one of the greatest magicians of our age. He hyperstitioned this reality that we are living in now.
There you go.
We are living in a manifested future from H.G. Wells' mind. And that rabbit hole goes deep. But think of it this way. H.G. Wells, he wrote War of the Worlds in 1898. Then, do you know that fake radio broadcast in 1938? Yes, that was a dramatization of War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Now, do you know who else made a film about H.G. Wells in 2005? The most recent adaptation of War of the Worlds? It was Steven Spielberg. There's a lot to it. Now, that's just a chain of events that doesn't seem very relevant, right? But trust me, I'll get into that one time. And actually, there's a much darker element to this because H.G. Wells, he wrote the book, The New World Order. He wrote the blueprint for the New World Order. And he said, billions must die for this New World Order to come into play. And it gets worse because the film Disclosure Day, it has a much darker element to it. A much darker element to it. Disclosure Day is a film about two children being abducted by aliens. And then these children grow up and they forgive these aliens. These aliens were their abusers and they forgive them. Not only that, they use the mainstream media to make the whole world forgive their abusers. Now, I cannot talk about that on YouTube, but let me tell you, the Steven Spielberg rabbit hole goes deep. I'm going to have to do that on my Patreon, right? I am promoting my Patreon now, but it's free, right? I need to diversify just in case they kick me off YouTube. I had an issue uploading a video. This is why there's been a delay. I had to, let's just say I had issues. Let's just say that, right? Mossad blew up my computer. I lost a whole video. I am going through hell, okay? No, it's fine. Everything's fine. I am fine. But yes, I am going to try and upload more videos. I'm going to get the Patreon going. The Patreon is free. It's just diversifying. But I welcome all the support. If you believe in aliens, that's cool. If you don't believe in aliens, that's also cool. You know, it doesn't matter. Just don't trust anyone. Don't even trust me. What's my agenda?
Hey.
What am I trying to do? Remember this actually. I don't believe they're going to fake an alien invasion. They'll realize that that's a dumb idea. I think after
I say that
Disclosure
same
Day,
shit.
they realize that this is not going to work. No one cared about this movie. No one will care about an alien invasion. But they will fake a sentient artificial intelligence that we have lost control of. And that will work. Everyone will believe that. Am I right? If we
that's interesting. Is this kind of a switcheroo? Are they pushing the alien bullshit in the mainstream because nobody's going to believe in it and everybody's going to say, "Ha, we see what you're doing." But this other thing, what about the AI? Oh my gosh, Claude is so powerful. Oh my gosh, Mythos. Oh, and then that takes up. Ooh, that's interesting.
we lose control of artificial intelligence tomorrow,
but really they still have control of it, right? Ooh.
Drones start attacking people, computers go down, whole power grids go down, and they tell you that actually we've lost control of one of these advanced artificial intelligence things. Will you believe that? You could believe that, right? But that will be fake as well. That will be fake as well. They will simulate the sentience. This is the simulated sentience hypothesis that will bring about the new Leviathan. And the new Leviathan of the new age will be simulated. Yes, I am absolutely mentally ill. I understand. I understand this. It's very hypocritical for me to say all this alien stuff is bullshit and then me tell you the craziest thing you've ever heard in your life. But let me tell you, Skynet will be fake. Skynet will be simulated, and that's what they're going to use. It's not going to be an alien invasion. It's going to be...
Define fake here, right? I mean, it'll be, oh, whoops, it went rogue, but really, I mean, the effects are still real, right? We're going to be under this AI technocratic tyranny where drones are flying in here, shooting us, or they might just even blame it. They might have some event, but they might blame it on like China or something. Right? That could also happen.
A simulated sentience invasion, a fake AI demon. Anyway, we're all having fun here. We're all having fun here. Let's have fun. Let's continue having fun. I'll see you all next week, hopefully.
All right, so what do you guys think about that? He's saying this is all kind of because this is something else I've thought of too, is that they push these things in the mainstream to gauge public interest and public understanding, right? They'll throw things out there. Let's throw the alien thing out there, and they kind of gauge public perception. They have people watching us. They know it's not a lot. People aren't really biting it. Okay, all right. They throw out, I don't know, whatever. They throw out the theories on the Charlie Kirk assassination. They throw out things like that. They throw out these ideas to see what will stick. And the AI one, the thing is though, with the AI one is that it's like, if it happens and the AI just starts killing us, to say, well, it's fake, guys, like who, it's like, it's almost like unfalsifiable. It's like, how do you even, it's real in the sense that we're getting killed by some sort of AI system, but like, he's saying that the people are the ones, the higher ups are the ones actually controlling it and doing it. They turn the system on us. I think that was also the plot of a Call of Duty game as well. Except I don't think it was the higher ups who did it. I think it was like a hack, like China or Russia or somebody hacked our AI systems and flipped all of our AI to kill us. Is that right? Was there a Call of Duty story that had AI go rogue? Corvus, yeah. Yeah, Black Ops 3. Rogue artificial intelligence known as Corvus. It was initially created by the CIA to monitor and analyze the thoughts of test subjects connected to a network called the Direct Neural Interface, the DNI. Wow. After absorbing the vicarious agony and trauma of the test subjects, the AI achieved sentience, went rogue, and caused a catastrophic disaster in Singapore before spreading as a digital virus. The rogue AI infects the minds of the main characters, driving them to madness and dictating the twisted virtual reality events that unfold throughout the campaign. Wow. What was the twist? What was the twist? The primary twist is that your character is actually dead before the second mission even begins, and the entire campaign takes place inside a dying simulation. Damn it! Simulation theory. I thought there was another one. Was there another one? Was there another? What? The irony is I'm using AI to look the stuff up. Okay. I don't know. That's an interesting theory. That is absolutely insane. Our schizo time. That's crazy. I haven't even so he's basically claiming that a lot of what we talk about, he's saying, is feeding into a psyop. Well, I guess not quite, because I don't necessarily talk about it going rogue. Just more so that I guess he's agreeing with us, because I talk about the powers that be utilizing and wielding it for their own means and oppressing us, essentially. But he's saying that they're going to fake that it's, oh my gosh, it's gone rogue, everybody. And then in secret, they're like, yeah, kill them all. Which, I mean, honestly, to me, it's like, that just adds another layer onto it, another qualifier. But the thing is that I already talk about, like, they could just oppress us with it in general. They don't even need to do this crazy, like, whoa, like, what are we going to be? Even if the elite just decided, we hate all you people, we're going to clamp down and start killing you guys with AI robots. I mean, what are we really going to, like, if they lie about it, are we not going to point the, I guess if any of us survive, we don't point the blame at them. I don't really know. I don't really know what the reason would be to even lie about it. Just do it, because I mean, we're not going to really have any recourse. I don't know. Interesting theory. Interesting video. I'll give him a like. Simulated Leviathan. Interesting. I love my algorithm on my Jacob account is so schizo. It's great. Project Blue Balls. Yep. Good night, AN. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to be calling it here in a second. Whoa, UFOs, dude. We should like form a one world governmentarino or something. That's what all the DMT elves and shit say too. We should all like band together under like one world government. Like, that's what the elves are telling me, man, when I trip. I believed in aliens are real my whole life until the government said it. Now I'm not so sure. Yeah, and then there's this quote attributed to Werner von Braun. The last card they play will be the alien card. It's all a lie. Von Braun also wrote a book called Project Mars, where a man named Elon colonizes Mars. Yeah, that was another thing. What in the world? The doublethink needed to ignore the decades of them pretending things beyond what we perceive don't exist, only to then suddenly say aliens out of nowhere is legitimately the most baffling thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, absolutely. Don't believe in any of that hocus pocus. Don't believe in God. Don't believe in. Oh, but these aliens, they don't believe in those. Well, I guess because they're going to have to show them. They're going to have to manifest them in physical form. The Earth is flat and there's no space exploration, so my guess is that the aliens are fake CIA agents going around doing shady things in cosplay suits, or B, they are older humans that control the civilization and make resets happen. Oh, wow. That guy's just like, he's straight up flat Earth pilled. Do I need to be, should I take the flat Earth pill, chat? Do I need to be red pilled on this? Blue beam this directly into my veins. Adorable Waffles is sure, why not? Yeah, fuck it, whatever. It's like changing a pair of pants. Yeah, sure, who gives a shit? Changing into my sweats now. I'm going flat Earth pilled. Who cares? All that really, I mean, what is it? If I just affirmed a flat Earth, what does that really change in my everyday life other than me not buying into this crap, to this worldview, right? Can you be, I mean, how does flat Earth comport with a Christian worldview? I'm going to ask the AI. I'll say, I will also maybe text my spiritual father as well. See what he says. He'll be like, he'll say, Jacob, go to bed. Orthodox Christianity does not require universally mandate a belief in a flat earth. Mainstream Orthodox theology is entirely compatible with scientific consensus. Yeah, I mean, from my understanding is that you could, I don't know if they ever made a claim on one or the other. I don't know. That's something else. That's something else. Okay. All right. I think that's going to be it. That's enough schizo babble for one weekend. We're going to call it there, boys and girls. We had an interesting one. We had a not Benjamin Netanyahu in chat going kind of crazy for a while there at 2 a.m. in Denmark. Very interesting. Very interesting. Next week, I might be trying out the callers, potentially. I'm throwing that out there. I might do that if I get everything set up and I get it all figured out. I might do that, and hopefully we can get some people calling in. That would be awesome. There'll be we'll have a phone number. We're gonna really post it out there, so it's gonna be hard to miss. But hopefully I get some people calling in. That would be sweet if I do it. I got to figure that out, how to get that to work. But I think that would be an interesting change up, especially with some of the clientele we get in chat. It would be interesting. So I think that's going to be it for me, boys and girls. It was a wonderful stream. I feel like I've got like a third win now. So, but I gotta get going. I gotta get off. I gotta eat. I'm starving. Clips will be up during the week. We'll be back next weekend. Thank you all for being here. Make sure to subscribe. Jake, I'm on YT. Follow me on X. Jake, I'm on YT. Same exact thing. Keep up to date. Clips will be up during the week. I think I already said that. We will be back next Friday. Until then, everybody have a great rest of your weekend and a great next week.